Am I the a-hole for telling my depressed brother he only has himself to blame for our parents not wanting to talk to him?
Ouch.
And this is all answering the question, when is a bad sibling relationship salvageable? This comes from Equivalent Tree 2A. And they say, my male 34 younger brother, Matt, male 31, was engaged to this woman, Emma, female 30, for the past year. Everyone in our family, my sister, parents, and myself, thought they were a perfect match. Emma was very polite, well-educated, had a great family, whom we had met a few times, and was head over heels for Matt. Fast forward to 3 months ago, and Emma finds out that Matt cheated on her with another woman, Cindy, female 25.
Ooh.
Damn, 10 years, almost 10 years younger.
Oh, yoinks. Good point.
Needless to say, the marriage has been called off and everyone has been beyond angry with Matt. Matt fumbled the bag.
He really did.
Our parents haven't spoken to Matt since the fallout of what's happened, and even I have only spoken to him twice, each call lasting less than 5 minutes. Our sister has also not spoken with him either. This morning, I received a call from Matt saying that he wanted to reconcile with the family. He mentioned how upset and depressed he's been since making the worst mistake of his life and how much he regrets his actions. I was listening up until this point, but I got annoyed when he started mentioning how also Cindy wants to meet our parents and the rest of us. So he's still with Cindy. He told me that he left our parents' voicemail a few days ago, but they haven't responded, and that he feels isolated from our family. I point blank told him that he only had himself to blame for this and that he clearly didn't think what he did was a mistake since he was still with Cindy. He said he just wanted us to give them a chance, but I told him I had to go to work and I left the call while he was finishing a sentence as I was very frustrated with him. Am I the a-hole? And there is an update 5 hours later, some relevant comments, and another juicy, thick update. But yeah, John, is OP the a-hole?
I think it's a really important thing to consider that a TLDR could be a great thing in helping determine whether or not one may or may not be an a-hole. What do you think about that? What are your thoughts?
I can definitely help, dude. Switching and listening is so hard.
Dude, it's so for me it's the scrolling, because like I'll scroll and then I'll lose where I was in the story, and then I'm like, oh, I got to get back, and then by the time, yeah, it's the whole thing.
I have no idea how Riley does it.
Dude, Riley
or Sophia. Sophia has the same brain as me. I don't know how it works.
Dude, this is challenging.
She crushes it.
Doing a Zoom, I'm like, I want to Zoom, but I will destroy everything.
Talk to quick TLDR. So
3 days later.
Honestly, I feel like while you should continue to hold them accountable, like don't let them get away with like, oh no, it's okay, whatever, like hold them like ferociously accountable. But I don't know if you excommunicate them. If anything, I feel like I would encourage them to do that more.
Include him more?
Sorry, that would, like, if he's now like excommunicated from his family, maybe he doesn't like have anyone to hold him accountable to not do it again.
Yeah. I actually think OP is being the a-hole.
I agree. Sorry. Yes. I agree. I don't know. I'm sure there's some cheating circumstances, and I'm sure we've read some, but I think that in this case, yeah, the OP is the a-hole.
So, and I just think we made actually a rule yesterday where nice. If Sophia was to steal one of my partners, I would not talk to her for every month I was in a relationship with that person. Right. And then times 3 if she was still in a relationship with that person. So if it was like a one night stand or something, that I wouldn't talk to her for a month of her. Yeah. So, right. But I would still, I would give it space, but I would still have a relationship with my sister, even if she cheated on her partner.
Yeah. I feel like it's like that kind of doesn't involve you as much, even though you should still hold them accountable. Yeah. I think it's just,
but in this scenario, it doesn't involve them at all. Like, so I don't know. It's not like OP's brother stole the girlfriend.
I agree. I'm not the a-hole. 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 I agree. I'm trying to look at the camera. Who is that? Dominic. I'm trying, but there's Sam's face here. There's the camera. The problem when I'm looking at the camera, I press the buttons. I have no idea what's happening. I have no idea what's happening over here. So like, yeah. Anyways,
you're doing great.
I'm trying. Anyways,
you're doing great. Thank you. Yeah, I think the a-hole, but I think a lot of people in the chat are saying not the a-hole. Was Cindy someone's partner, like a family member or friends? No, it's just like he cheated on his partner. So they have like Cindy is just a random person. Are there kids involved? No. No. Yeah. Matt was engaged to this woman for the past year. So they were engaged for a year. And then he cheated. So they not that it excuses him, but they weren't even married. So they weren't married, didn't have kids. Cindy is not the partner of anyone in the family.
Sam's golden rule: you can cheat as long as you're not married. Wait, how do I zoom? I must, yeah.
But yeah, no, there's no children. I think it's a little bit harsh. I think it's too harsh.
It's yeah. I, if anything, I would stay. I would continue the line of communication to continue to hold them accountable.
Yeah. That's actually a good point. It's like,
right?
Because the more you isolate and excommunicate someone, the more they're gonna feel that they have like no choice but maybe to continue behavior. Like they need like good role models. It
pressures them.
Yeah, it pressures them.
Like they know that they'll get called out again if they do that.
Exactly. And if they don't have anyone looking over them, then they might just do it again. Would you cut your sister out if she cheated on her partner?
No, yeah. I don't think so.
I wouldn't cut my sister out. I would be like, naughty, don't do that.
Yeah, like why are you doing that?
Why would you do that?
Yeah, if anything, I would like try to like connect with her more to
figure out like what the heck's like, why are you doing that? What's going on? Yeah. I feel like that it basically, you have a chance to maybe influence them in a good way if you stay around longer, which is kind of what you've been saying. But there is more to this story. Update. So for more context, for everyone suggesting that Matt found his true love in Cindy, that's questionable from my perspective. He still claims his current relationship with her is a mistake. Ouch. And I'm fairly certain he has said as much to her in the past. Wow.
To his ex-partner?
No, to Cindy, the person he's currently in a relationship with.
Oh.
He's saying it's a mistake. That's crazy.
Then why are you... Yeah, okay.
Because of spite, I don't know, to make it feel like he did the right thing or like he didn't do it for nothing.
Guy sucks.
So, update 2, 5 hours later. After reading some of the comments and doing some self-reflection, I've decided to reach out to my brother. I have decided it's true. He's done something terrible, and there is simply no other way of seeing it. However, despite the disappointment, I still do feel that I have a responsibility towards him at this low point in his life. I agree. If Sophia cheated on her partner, I would be there for her. Right, Sophia?
Sophia's here.
Sophia's here.
Changing our ice packs.
Yeah.
Like a great sister.
Right, Sophia?
She agrees.
She agrees.
Hooray!
She agrees. Especially considering that my parents and sister probably won't be reaching out to him. I called him. The call lasted about 20 minutes. That's 4 times longer than the last calls. The last calls only lasted 5 minutes. So improvement. So I offered to meet him in person, which did seem to cheer him quite a bit up. I, however, made it abundantly clear to him that I have no interest in meeting Cindy. At this point, he said something that confirmed my suspicions on what he thinks of Cindy, but was still pretty surprising to hear him say. He told me that he's open to the idea of dumping Cindy if it helps build back his relationship with our parents and sister. When I asked him if he was sure about that, he said that she was small time and that she knew the risks of getting into a relationship with him, so her feelings would be on her.
Why did he
It's such a weird way of phrasing it. Like, she knew like getting involved with a married man was going to come at a cost.
But like you're the one that's cheating.
Yeah.
And presumably you knew how your family would feel about it.
Yeah, I really don't like that response.
Same.
She was small time and that she knew the risk. That feels what is that? That's like
He doesn't
unempathetic.
care.
He doesn't care about her.
He literally I feel like he's just doing things.
Yeah, I'm really confused. That would be a red flag to me. It feels like he still hasn't learned his lesson. It's like you know what that is?
What?
It's him not taking responsibility for his actions. It's like, yeah, she knew what she was getting into.
Right. Yeah.
And like, yeah, I don't know. It feels kind of whack. This whole situation sucks, and I don't even know what to feel about it anymore. So, some relevant comments. How is Emma doing? And as a reminder, Emma was the perfect person that he was engaged to before he decided to cheat. Deadly Cat 667. He's condescending. Yeah, I think that's what it is. He's condescending.
That too.
Yeah, and Cherish High Vibe says, "Wow, he's a giant ale." Period. For sure. I mean, he cheated on his perfect soon-to-be wife. So, getting back into relevant comments, how is Emma doing? I can only hope she's doing better now. We have unfortunately kind of lost contact with her since then. It was very hard for her given how much she loved Matt. Another comment. What's the point of meeting Cindy when he may just as soon cheat on her? And what does it say about her character? My mom actually mentioned this in the past. She doesn't want to get to know a new girl and for us to develop a relationship with her only for it to end the same way. Oh,
because she'll go and they'll cheat on each other maybe.
So yeah, the relationship exactly. The mom's like, I don't need to look at this random relationship because I feel like they're gonna break up in a second anyway.
Which I don't agree with cutting off the son. I agree with that for not wanting to meet Cindy, the affair partner.
Yes, exactly. So I don't need to build a relationship with this random person. Ask him how Cindy feels about being called the worst mistake of his life.
Facts, dude.
Oh, he responds. Sadly, I'm fairly certain he said this to her around the time they got together.
Oh my God.
During one of his early calls post the cheating, he mentioned how he had an argument with Cindy about Emma. He hinted to me that he may have said something like this to her. But maybe it was like, "You're my dirty little mistake," you know?
Oh, maybe.
John's like, ew. Gross. Then OP is voted not the a-hole, but people have varying opinions on going no contact. I don't think going no contact, at least at this point.
I think OP is the a-hole for going no contact. Personally.
I also think OP is the a-hole for going no contact. But
Facts.
There is another update.
Woo!
2 days later.
Let's do it.
So it's been an exhausting few days, but enough has happened since my last post to warrant an update. So I ended up meeting with my brother to discuss what's going on. We live in the same city, so arranging a time and a place wasn't too difficult. After some small talk and a bit of catching up, we got straight into talking about what's been on his mind. He reiterated how he made a major mistake and wants our parents' and sisters' acceptance. He also said that it's way too late for him to try reaching out to Emma, and even if he did, she would never accept. Good on you, Emma. You deserve respect. While he admitted responsibility, he also blamed Cindy and pointed out that meeting our parents was mainly her idea. He mentioned how he didn't consider their relationship too serious, despite what Cindy thought, and was annoyed that she kept pushing him to make things more official. Yikes.
I retract my previous statement. Cut this guy off. This guy sucks.
He sucks. He sucks so much.
He's literally the worst.
Yeah. He said that he had turned down requests from her for him to meet her family and friends, and that so far she's only met a handful of his friends. After saying all of this, he told me that none of it mattered anyway since he broke up with her since I last spoke with him. He said that he wants a fresh start and thinks Cindy will stifle that. So basically, he's cutting her off so he can have a relationship with his family again.
Yes. You should have cut off your relationship with Cindy a while ago. And yeah, he still sucks.
He still sucks,
but
does he deserve, do you think that deserves a relationship with the sister and parents?
Yeah, I think, he sucks so, like, I literally hate him. Like,
but
if I was
family.
If that was my sibling, I would be like, you are so stupid and like don't care about other people's emotions. It is infuriating. But I would probably still have a relationship to a degree to be able to say and communicate that.
Yeah, to say how stupid you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Low key,
exactly.
That's what you kind of need. I think so.
He needs someone to hold him accountable.
Yeah. He mentioned how she was crying and didn't want their relationship to end, but he remained firm. What made me feel bad for her was when he mentioned how she has her thesis defense in a few weeks, but Matt said she didn't matter to him, as once again he reiterated she knew the risks.
I literally hate this man.
He mentioned how Cindy had been texting him asking why he's being so mean to her and why he ended things abruptly. He texted her back some pretty awful things, and I don't want to repeat them, that did get her to stop trying to contact him. Dang, like
that. He's doing, even when he almost does something right, he does it wrong.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, he's just kind of a butt.
Yeah.
He's just kind of a butt. But he's a butt and he's your family. And you never give up on family.
Sometimes you do. Sometimes you give up on family.
The conversation ended with Matt requesting that I help him build up his relationship with our parents and sister again. I didn't want to make any promises and only told him that I would do what I can. Maybe our parents might be convinced to meet with him down the line, but I'm not too sure about our sister. She told me that her entire image of him was shattered and that it will take a lot of time for her to accept that. And we do have some relevant comments before we jump into anything, but someone says, your brother is an a-hole and needs therapy.
True.
And then OP responds, I don't think he needs therapy per se, not that he'd ever go. I think he was just being needlessly mean to Cindy. The messages he sent her were just awful. And then finally, someone says, he seems like he has a lot of issues that he will continue to keep bringing into other relationships, which is maybe a reason that people are saying no contact, because he's like, if he's this much of an a-hole to Cindy and his perfect partner, Emma, what is he going to do in his relationship with his family? And he responds, I hope not. He kept reiterating that he needs a fresh start and he'll do better next time. And that's where the story ends. So, John, what do you think? Do you think he deserves another chance with the family?
He sucks so much.
He sucks so much.
He definitely needs therapy. That is for sure.
Yeah.
I think it could literally, the only communication could be just keeping him accountable and being like anytime he's like, oh, hey, like, let's get together. Da, da, da. It's like, you know, I love you, but like, how are you doing? What's new?
Yeah.
Tell me the things you've been telling Cindy recently. Like some, I don't know.
I would probably say, like, why are you being so mean to Cindy? Like, you should apologize for that. Like, I like, maybe it's like, hey, he doesn't know how to not be an a-hole. So let me tell him what he needs to do to stop being an a-hole and earn his place in my life.
Well, let me match you with this, right? Let's say,
match me, daddy.
You keep doing this and you basically become his like it's like
empathy coach.
Yeah. Like in Pixar where they have like the emotions.
Yeah.
You are literally his empathy, like emotional character. So like,
and he's just like, what do I do in this situation?
Yes. And then you're like, oh my, like, I really have to instruct this like empathy-less zombie
human.
Like it's like with gratitude. You're like, oh, let me give you a hug, you know?
Yeah, dude. It's Weekend at Bernie's, but with empathy. Yeah, I think if luckily I don't have a massive a-hole of a sister. And she's pretty great.
Do you?
No, she's awesome.
JK.
But like I if she like had a brain injury and became an a-hole, I think wasn't actively an a-hole to me to the point where I had to like cut her out and it was just an a-hole to like her romantic partners. I would still keep her in my life to try to be that good influence like we were saying earlier and maybe be her empathy coach until she got back on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, I guess there's a difference between empathy coach and literal like empathy brain
puppeteer.
Puppeteer.
Yeah. I don't know. I just can't imagine cutting out my sister. I think it's
so hard to imagine.
I just like, and we both have great relationships with our siblings. So it's like, it's really hard to be like I can't like, I think I would, I still, even if my sister killed someone, I would encourage her to go to confess, but I wouldn't cut her out.
Yeah, like I feel children.
Yeah,
that wasn't that was neither a agreement nor a disagreement, but I think siblings and children are hard to cut out.
Have you seen Dexter?
I haven't, but I know the premise. It's like
basically
a serial killer who
yeah,
gets other serial killers.
Yeah, but his dad is like, yeah, I know you have these urges to kill, but you got to do it in a way that is healthy, and basically like teaches his son to kill bad people. And so he's like, I know you have this urge to kill and you're a sociopath, but I'm your dad and I'm here for you.
I'm on board. I'm on board for that because now you're not actually, you are doing it to the people that are causing the harm, therefore reducing the harm, therefore doing good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I agree. I'm down for that.
Matt could have a brain injury at birth. No one. He's a sociopath.
Yeah, he's an idiot. That's for sure.
He's an idiot. Anyway, Jellybus says, "Oh, Sam would use her to his advantage if she was murderous." What? What are you talking about?
Oh my gosh,
dude! The comments have been coming for me lately. Do you want to read this next one?
No. Oh, it's a story.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Woo! Yay, we did it. Out now.
Switch.
Brother is proposing at my wedding. I told him no. Now my family's getting revenge. It wasn't bad enough that the brother was proposing at your wedding.
It's a family event. What else are you expecting him to do?
Yeah, he's like, you're building a family. Why can't I build a family at the same time?
Selfish, dog.
Selfish. But we got a long solo episode today for y'all. We are really excited. Put I miss Sam in the comments if you love and miss our boy Sam. But we do got our boy Riley.
What's up, guys? How are you?
You ready to get it, Riley?
Always.
Let's do it. I, 27 male, will start this off by saying my wedding is scheduled for April because my fiance, 25 female, has always dreamed of a spring wedding. And I really like that idea too. I have an older brother though, 30 male. And last Sunday, I was called over to my parents' house to talk about something. Then they sat me down with my brother and told me that my brother wants to use my wedding as the perfect day for him to propose to his girlfriend. What is it with these people that want to propose at other people's like weddings?
I know this day's about you, but let me just make it about me.
I just had something I was going to say. I totally forgot. Oh no, I got it. Damn it. Well, we lost that one. I was instantly mad and told them absolutely not. But they ganged up on me. I ended up so enraged to the point that I, one man, somehow backed all three of them into a corner. I told them that if they want to do this, then not only will they all be uninvited, but I am also going to cut off the financial support I've been giving monthly since they paid to have my golden brother go through college by taking out a second mortgage. mortgage. I landed a decent high-paying job and have been sending $500 to my parents monthly to help ease their mortgage. And I didn't ask for a stake in the ownership in their house either because I don't really want it. It was entirely goodwill, and I can cut it off at any time.
Ooh.
Lay down the law, OP. I left without speaking anything more to them, but my brother came to my home the next day to yell at me that I ruined his big chance because now my parents are siding with me and they say they'll evict him if he tries to propose at my wedding. I almost want the parents to like make up your damn mind a little bit. You know what I mean? If you're gonna be an a-hole, at least be a consistent a-hole. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Don't be flip-flopping now.
You can't just crap your a-hole over here and then run over to this side and just crap it on over here. Like, just keep it right in the center where you had it in the first place.
Yeah.
Oh, he said I was financially blackmailing our parents and that he just wanted a good chance to propose because he was a Oh, Riley, because he was afraid his girlfriend might leave him soon. The perfect way to solve a relationship in tatters is to propose to them, seemingly without their approval.
I know if I ask her alone, she'll say no. So let me just peer pressure her with all my loving family. So she'll say yes. I mean, not a bad game plan.
Can you imagine? You go to this wedding, you're in this relationship with this fucking a-hole that is trying to propose to you at a wedding, so you can't say no. He gets on one knee. The relationship's not going well, and he's like, hold on, before you say I do, I just gotta say something real quick. Will you marry me? And then she's like, no.
Ooh, that would be kind of awkward.
If that's what happens in this story, this might be the greatest story we've ever had on this podcast. Well, now you got me excited, Riley. Now you got my gears going. I said that was his problem, not mine. That is correct. And if he tries to propose at my wedding, I will have him thrown out. That's not a maybe, but a definite. And I doubt his girlfriend would appreciate her proposal followed up with him being tossed out by a bouncer. That is if she even says yes. God, imagine she's like, you know what, guards? Take him away.
Out of here.
That would be hilarious. He yelled a few choice words at me, then went crying to our only surviving grandparent, our maternal grandmother. And she called to try to ream me over the phone. No surprise, my brother heavily embellished the version of the story he told her. Mima, he came over and he said, you can never get married. If you ever try to seek love, I will find you and destroy you. If you dare propose your love to another woman, I will frame you for murder and get you locked away in prison for all of your life. Grandma, I need your help. Dude.
Oh, God, classic brother.
Classic. Bros gonna be bros, am I right, guys? Oh my God. But she still sided with him after I gave her the real story. She tried to hold her ground, but the verbal backlash I ended up giving her left her crying. Not Mima crying. I think, man, OP, I don't know. Not Mima. She's old. She's frail. Her old little heart can't take it. That got back to my parents, who were pissed at me for taking things so far. But I told them that I only went that far because I had to when they were all trying to let my brother use my wedding as his springboard for a proposal. They ended up agreeing with me, but still stated they feel like I'm crass. And my brother showed up at my home again to scream at me and that I'm an a-hole. And I hope I'm happy with myself for not allowing him the opportunity. Dude. Oh.
That sucks. There's no win here.
Nobody's winning. Everybody's losing.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll keep going. My fiance knows what my brother tried to do, and she is very angry about it. She's almost ready to have him uninvited if he pursues this any further. Normally, I have a mild temper. Maybe not, OP. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt here.
What makes you think you have a mild temper?
Right? But when it comes to certain people like my brother, parents, and grandmother, I can easily get short with them because all of the past favoritism. My grandmother especially. She has always sided with my brother and believed his lies no matter what he did. She's the biggest reason my parents favored my brother too. She kept trying to convince me over the phone to let my brother propose at my wedding that I ended up losing it on her. okay, a little more context, but I don't know.
That's a dark place to be if you make your grandma cry.
That's what I'm saying. I ended up speaking with my brother again and threatened to tell his girlfriend if he was still intending to propose at my wedding without permission. Whoa. I mean, that is the trump card.
Right.
Wow. Imagine if OP goes to his brother's girlfriend and tells her what's up, and then she's like, yeah, you're a maniac. I'm just going to leave you right now.
Dude, I mean, it would get rid of all the problems.
Actually, bro, everything is just stemming from the brother. The brother is just freaking virus, just infecting OP and everybody around him right now. He's the COVID of people. Yeah, shut him off. Lock him down. Put on a mask. He took it poorly and he called me an awful person. So I pointed out that my wedding isn't about him. A real shocker. Our parents were there for this and they backed me up. I think my brother did a double take when they did that. My dad pointed out that he had raised my brother wrong and that was on him. Man, these parents are doing a complete 180. This is like the fastest turnaround in OKOP history right here. Am I right, Riley?
Yeah, that was pretty quick. They're like, oh, you're right now. I was just being goofy.
For all of the childhood when I raised you, I was completely wrong for your entire existence. Like, wow, man saw reason real quick. So from now on, my brother wants to show them real respect, okay? And they wanted to get an official lease drawn up for him to pay proper rent and utilities. He was only paying them $300 a month without contributing to any utilities or food. And if he doesn't want to pay, he can move out and they'll rent his room to someone else. Because keep in mind, they're also already paying for his school with the mortgage.
Oh yeah.
So he's getting like almost no rent and his college paid for by their second mortgage.
Yeah. And like, how old is this guy?
30. Come on, man. Like, dude. I know a certain hot, sexy 23-year-old podcast producer is already living on his own and making the big leap all the way across the country. So, man, if that guy can do it, you can too, buddy.
I did also do like early college and like work my way through college as fast as possible. So I may have taken a few short steps, but
hey, my boy's out here doing it, okay? That's it. Point blank, period. My brother turned to our mom for help. Gotta love crying to mommy. But she just agreed with dad. He looked like he was having a fit of rage and then left the house. He came back a couple of hours later, but spoke to no one and locked himself in his room. I love how he's like, Mommy, you're not doing this and helping me out. I'm gonna lock myself in my room. I'm 30 years old and I deserve to trash my brother's wedding and have my college paid for and get a room for free.
yeah, you just can't like do that. Like just going into your room and pouting as a 30-year-old man.
Dude, you got a 4? You got that, okay? If you want to propose at your brother's wedding at 4, you have the right to be upset, okay? Everyone is in your corner, but you are 26 years too late, my friend. 2 days later, my brother announced that he was moving in with grandma because she invited him. And our parents basically told him that if he wants to live with her, then go ahead. My brother responded to this by saying, we all hate for him just wanting to propose to his girlfriend. Buddy, you are not getting it, my friend. My parents pointed out that it's not that he wanted to propose, but where he wanted to do it, and he'd get no support for it. He is refusing to talk to our parents now. My grandmother did try to call me again, but it ended up with me telling her that my brother will not be allowed to propose at my wedding, plain and simple. So he can get over it or not come. And the same goes for her. I ended up calling her out on her favoritism towards my brother since we were kids, which she tried to deny at first, but couldn't keep doing so because of how much I'd pointed out. She ended up crying again. Bro, OP is just on a roll, making his grandma just cry tears over here. I made her cry again while I told her that if she keeps insisting on this, then she won't be coming to my wedding. Dropping hammers left and right. You'll get a hammer, Oprah style. She begs me not to rescind her invite, but still said she doesn't understand why I couldn't let my brother have his way before ending the call. My fiance is 100% on my side. That would be kind of hilarious if she wasn't. You know, I think your brother should propose at our wedding. Actually, what if your brother proposes to me because I'm kind of over you. So I'm marrying your brother now at our wedding.
That'd be wild.
Plot twist. And she's fully ready to remove my brother and grandmother from the wedding. My grandmother hasn't called again, and she's not talking to my parents either. My guess is my brother went crying to her again to tell her mommy and daddy weren't enabling anymore. So she's offering him to move in with her. But there's literally nothing she can do to sway me. And I think my last conversation with her made her realize that. I didn't wish to tell my brother's girlfriend, but she came up on a Sunday about my Reddit post. Ooh, damn, when you get exposed on Reddit. Damn. If only she wasn't such an active Redditor. She saw it read in an online video and then realized that it might be me with the way I described my brother and grandmother. So yeah, she knows. She ended up tearing my brother a new a-hole, and he still tried to justify himself to her. Bro, my man he just is sticking his heels in the ground and saying, no, I am not in the wrong. Imagine he still ends up proposing to her at the wedding after all of this. He's like, it's perfect, I swear.
No one's gonna see it coming. No one's gonna see it coming.
Right? Reverse psychology. I tell them I won't, and then I do. That's when she told him they were through and cut out all contact with him.
Yikes.
She did it. She did it. Wow. My brother, of course, blamed me. Yeah, I mean, this guy's already on that train. He's not getting off now. He's not like, you know what? You were right for me to not propose at your wedding. And you know what? Maybe I should use this opportunity to seek a relationship where I'm not trying to, take from all of my other. No, he's not doing that right now, guys. Even though his girlfriend said that she's been ready to leave him for a while now. Yikes. And if he tried to propose, no matter where, she'd have told him no. So that's it. My brother showed up at my place one more time to have a fit and said he is boycotting my wedding. OP can't get married. Say it with me now. OP can't get married and eat. Say it with me now. He's just protesting his brother's wedding. He's got like a megaphone. This man would want to get married in a place where brothers can't propose. We cannot stand for this injustice.
Dude, I could just see like when the priest is like, does anyone have any obligations? He just like trucks it to his brother and just like tackles him and like just like has a poster ready. Just like, no. Love, I hate love, or like,
yeah. Oh my God, I love it. He actually thought he had leverage that he and grandma won't go. I said I wouldn't miss him, and that he's in his 30s now and needs to grow up. Our parents have cut the umbilical cord and are no longer supporting him. And they're already repainting his room to rent it out to someone else. And they plan on renting out my old bedroom as well because they need the money after the financial hole he left them in after dropping out of college. Dude, they got a whole second mortgage.
Oh, dude.
My man is just doubling down on making everyone's life a living hell. Wow. Just to mooch off them a little while and then get a degree with an online college later, and then barely paying any rent while also making them pay for his food and utilities despite having a good paying job. They spent the world on him and he hasn't been the least bit grateful. That made my brother just shut down and leave. And since then, we've not heard a peep from him. That's everything that's happened from my original post up until now. And edit, yes, I have very good security hired for the wedding. They'll toss out my brother like bouncers in a heartbeat. Wow.
Dang.
Okay, Riley, we are facing the first update in this story, but we need to take a second to break this down. How are you feeling right now, Riley?
Dude, this is, I mean, like the crabs in the bucket, like if one of them falls, it takes another one with them. Like that's the scenario with the brother. He's like, okay, if I can't have love, you aren't getting it. And he's doing whatever he can to make sure that his brother's not getting love. It's sad to see. What's going through your head?
It really is so sad. Like I am very much expecting the brother to try to show up and crash the wedding. That is what I think we're in for. And it's going to be such a mess, and security is going to throw him out. and it's just going to be awful.
It's him and his grandma pulling up like that, them versus the whole wedding. That's the scenario right now.
100%. Yeah, imagine him and his grandma just come storming in like they're thinking they're like 300, right? Like, we're the last stand against the tyranny of this wedding. And they just go in on the stage and they're like, all of you are haters and fools. You would not let beloved brother have his proposal and his room and let him drop out of college when his parents paid for everything. Like, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish I could say he had something going for him, but he really doesn't. He's making a fool out of himself, sadly.
Dude, this man baby, and he keeps doubling down and making it so much worse. Like, even if he just like, all right, like even if he just dipped out, it would end up so much better than all of the idiocracy that he is trying to pull right here.
Yeah.
But Riley, we don't have to guess what happens in the future.
We don't?
Because we know it, and we're going to read it right now.
Ooh.
Update. Well, my brother came pounding on my front door again a few days ago. Just like he can't pound his ex-girlfriend anymore. I'm stopping. Okay. All right. And this time he was drunk. Wasted, he told me he found about my Reddit posts because he tried to get back together with his ex and she told him how she found out what he was planning. So his dumbass thought it'd be a good idea to get wasted and then confront me. He even vomited on my porch step. What a guy. And then did something I did not see coming. He curled up on the ground crying. I figured he was going to attack me or something because he was acting so deranged. But instead, he just sort of got in a fetal position and cried in the grass while blaming me for his problems in between swigs from the bottle he was carrying.
Dude.
I mean, it's just so like, it's just so sad. Like,
yeah, that like this is how he's like coping with it.
You don't have to be here if you just let him not be like, oh yeah, you know what? Maybe proposing at your wedding isn't the greatest idea. It's your wedding. You're like, what is happening? Oh my God. From what I could get out of him, he recently went to see his ex and begged her to take him back. But she told him that he was a man-child and she'd never want to marry him. And then explained everything, how she knew he was planning on proposing. He went home and searched online until he found my Reddit posts and read them. He went through a lot of the comments on my prior posts, and when he realized next to nobody saw things from his point of view, he broke his computer monitor and started pounding a bottle of vodka while walking over to my home since I only live a couple of miles from my grandma's house. Jeez! Oh my good. He walked a couple of miles? I mean, that takes like 2 or 3 hours, right? Like, am I wrong?
No, a mile to walk is like 17 minutes, 20 minutes.
Okay, it's like an hour maybe. An hour each way, right? A few miles each?
Drinking vodka on the way. Yeah, probably an hour.
Maybe an hour each way, but golly. While he was sitting on the ground, he was drunkenly cursing me and saying it's my fault that everyone but grandma hates him now. I had no sympathy and told him that he did it all to himself. Sure, I aired out our dirty laundry online by telling everyone, but he was still the entitled jerk who never really grew up and goes crying to granny like a spoiled brat when he doesn't get his way. Time to grow up and man up. He called me a few more things that I could barely understand and then pretty much just stopped talking to sit there and keep drinking and crying. I don't know if I could like, Opie's a little cold-blooded. I'd be like, just get in here, like stop drinking, like take a shower. Like Opie is cold-blooded. I'm sorry, but
if we had more context of like what OP's life was growing up, we'd probably be like, you know, if his brother was like the golden child and giving everything to him, he probably is like fed up now and he's like, stop doing this. And he's like, I can't handle it. That would make sense. But like, still like, he's your brother. You got to like give him like a blanket at least.
Bro's a little down bad right now. I'm not going to lie. Like, jeez. I ended up taking away what was left of his bottle and said that maybe when he's sober, he can see some common sense. Then I called for a taxi to take him home. I wasn't about to drive to grandma's house because I don't want to see or be anywhere near her. My brother didn't even thank me for calling and paying for the taxi. Just flopped himself into the backseat and told the driver to get going. I got a call the next day from the taxi service. I know exactly, but I see you in the comments if you see what I'm about to say, saying that my brother had vomited multiple times all over the backseat in the short time that he was in the cab. And it took $200 to thoroughly clean it because it was everywhere. That's how it goes. Uber is like 150 like minimum, I think.
What?
Yeah, I actually have if I can remember, I have a small little John tale that I'll tell you at the end that involves me paying for somebody else. You can in an Uber, but stay around to the end if you want to see that one. I apologized and mailed them a check for their trouble. It's been a few days since that happened, but the crap didn't end there, so I'm going to be making another post very soon. Wow. Okay, so we're like not even at the wedding yet. Oh, I'm like, okay, so here's a question for everyone right now. Do we think OP is the a-hole for being so kind of like removed from dealing with his brother and because of all of the things, all of the BS that the brother has done? Riley, you're the voice of the people right now.
Okay, like brother's 30, bro, and he's acting like this, and like OP's 26, and like his older brother's not even acting right. Like I could see where the lack of compassion's coming from, but I'm always like, if you just hear him out, because in a way, older brother's looking at you and being like, you ruined my relationship and you got me kicked out of my house. Like that's what that's like what's going through older brother's head, I believe. And like, you just got to be like, you still got to remind him like, hey, I love you, man, in some way, shape, or form. Is he the a-hole? He's justified. I would say OP is justified in the way he's acting, but he could have more compassion towards his brother.
Totally. Yeah, I would say he's just over that line of being the a-hole. Not obviously like everything he's saying is true. Like his brother like can't just like give in to what he wants, and his brother did. He made his own bed and now he is laying in it, puke and all. So, you know, there's no one he can blame for but himself. But like, yeah, dude, I'm just imagining if I've been just like, dang, you sorry sack of crap. Just to take a shower, you know what I mean? Like, golly, I don't know if I could sit there and watch that and just, you know. I mean, OP, you know what? In fairness, OP did the right thing, took the bottle away and paid him for the taxi home. So, you know, he didn't he wasn't just like, all right, boom, close the door on him. But Riley, I think we need to see what happens in this next update.
There's another update. Uh-oh.
Yeah, there is. All right. Update. Well, it's been a ride. You can say that, OP. A fair bit has happened since my last post, so I thought it'd be best to wait until I'm married and settled in my honeymoon to speak to everyone. Wait, so does that mean we get the wedding story?
I think so.
This might be the most anticipation I've felt for an update in this entire history of this show. I so desperately want to see if the brother crashes it. Firstly, I want to say that I don't know crap about taxes other than I pay them, but someone here questioned how I could write off the money I was giving to my parents monthly for their mortgage, and I honestly thought I could. But a person who actually does taxes contacted me and said that that wasn't possible, or at the very least shouldn't be possible since I have partial ownership of the house. And that made me curious that I may be breaking the law. Interesting. Well, I looked into it, and long story short, the person who was doing my taxes no longer is. I took my questions to the owner of the tax firm and explained to him that that guy who was doing my taxes was getting me roughly 1/3 write-off on the money I was paying to my parents monthly. Well, the owner said he'd recheck the records himself and said he'd call me later. It took a few days, but he told me that the guy who was doing my taxes did a few things that he shouldn't, and that he had a previous record of doing this. The firm fired him, and the owner apologized profusely and asked me not to take my business elsewhere. I believe in supporting local businesses and shop from them where I can. So I told them as long as my records are clean, I'll stay with them. And he assured me that he'll make sure everything is. I do find it stupid that the owner didn't fire my former tax guy after this first offense. And I get the feeling that he rug swept a lot of things, but he's assured me that my taxes will be done by him personally from now on. So I'm going to give him the chance to make everything right. Wow, what a side quest that came from this whole story. He realizes like his tax guy was like embezzling money from his like contribution to his parents' mortgage.
That was like one sentence in that Reddit post and it ended up in someone getting fired.
Right? Oh my, this man is just a living Reddit podcast. My God. Since my last post, my parents have also managed to rent out both of their spare rooms. Both tenants are young women who are first-time renters. Maybe they should be like, hey, we've got a fine-looking 30-year-old man baby. If you live with him, we'll give you a discount on the rent.
They're recruiting.
Right? Yeah, exactly. They're recruiting. And they've each taken a room. Both are pleasant enough, but I've barely spoken to them. My parents say they're good tenants, so we'll see how everything goes. My father has also begun remodeling the attic into another room that he can eventually rent. It's going to be a slow process as he doesn't have a lot of time to work on it unless it's on the weekends, but he's determined to get it done. Now, on to the period before my wedding. The build-up. Well, my grandma went mental, as if she wasn't already. Apparently, after I told her off on the phone about a month ago, she went off her rocker even further and actually lashed out at my brother, which is something I thought she'd never do with how much she loves and enables him. After about a week, a neighbor heard all the commotion and ended up going to check on her. She attacked him over it. Oh my God. Police were called and took my grandma into custody for a psychiatric hold. And she tried to attack one of the officers as well.
Oh my God.
Granny is throwing hands. Dude, how did this brother do all this? Dude. He is unraveling everyone's lives right in front of their eyes. Opie's caught in like tax embezzlement. The grandma is getting arrested and thrown into a psych ward. Like, my goodness. But she's a frail little old lady with false teeth. Not a lot that she could do to one of them. My parents went in to see her, but visitors weren't permitted until the 3 days were over. And when they were there, my parents met with her and told me she was hamming it up and playing the victim and trying to get my parents back on her side. My mother said my grandma was still blaming me and also saying that she still had a right to be at my wedding. Granny's getting sucker punched the freaking priest at this point. Like, I do punch him in the face with my wrinkled on his hand. Bam, bam, bam.
Dude, she needs to worry about getting out of jail, not going to the wedding.
Right? You have priorities, Granny, priorities. My grandma, she would always say she would hold up her cute little arthritis riddled hand and she would be like, you want to taste my soup bone? She was, bro, my granny was ready to throw hands at any moment. It was on site.
On site, anytime. Drop of a pin, she's there.
Ready to go. Well, my mother let her have it by saying that she lost that right after everything she did, like attacking the stranger. Oh my God. I'm in just complete disbelief over here, guys. I'm gonna be honest with you. All the lies and the gaslighting and being mad at me for something as petty as getting married before my man-child older brother that she outright said was her favorite grandson. Meanwhile, my brother was chilling in her house because he had it all to himself until my grandma wasn't allowed to return home. Also, did the brother not even like try to like stop her or like go see her or something? Like, is he just like, oh, perfect. Now I can do my Star Wars marathon. This is great. Good God.
She attacked him. I wouldn't want to go see my grandma if she tried to attack me.
I'd be like, yo, Granny, what are... No. She didn't attack him. She attacked the neighbor that was...
What?
Coming home after. Yeah, it was a neighbor that was coming in because they were like fighting. She was finally like yelling at the brother like for once.
Oh.
And then so a neighbor came over and then she's like, you getting a piece of this too, baby.
That's crazy.
A total for the freaking neighbor, dude.
Dang, I'm so convinced she probably laid a few on him though. Like if they were fighting that much that a neighbor came over, like he's probably like,
I think it was like a yelling commotion, but like, yeah, still an absolute mess.
I don't know. I wouldn't check up on my grandma if she did something to go to jail. Like I'd be like, okay. And I was there and I saw it happen.
Wait a second. I ain't an accomplice over here, officer. Oh, man. Don't have much information from that point since my parents didn't bother to see grandma or my brother again thus far. And dang, I cannot blame them. Next is my wedding. Dude, I'm so excited. The outdoor venue my wife and I picked was beautiful. There was a good-sized man-made pond with paddle boats and plenty of wild ducks and frogs. Though the ducks came right up to people begging for food. We brought some loaves of cheap wheat bread so the kids in the family could toss some to the ducks. The venue was also near a golf course, so kids were having fun hunting for lost golf balls like they were Easter eggs. They also found a lot of them, and that was some good, wholesome fun. Yes, I did have security there, and yes, my grandma did show up and tried to get in. Even though her invitation had been officially rescinded, she still had the paper one that she'd gotten in the mail since she refused to return it after being uninvited. My brother wasn't with her, but she drove 200 miles by herself just to try and get into my wedding. Granny is determined. You got to give her that. She is out here. She showed up acting sweet, but then turned into a crazy bee when the guard refused her entry. She screamed out my name and demanded to be let in. Oh my God, that would be so embarrassing. You're at your wedding and like everyone's like toasting and dancing, and then your grandma's like, "Oh, babe, I know you're in there. You got a little granny in, or else I'm gonna spank you, little boy. You can't hide behind security forever. You know granny's got it on site."
I'm just thinking of like the cousins that haven't seen grandma in a while, and they're like, "Oh, grandma, hey," and she's just like going ballistic.
Guards are like, "Ma'am, step back, ma'am, you're not allowed in here." I'm just imagining like in the security room, OP just has like two pictures. It's a mugshot of like a 90-year-old little woman, and then a mugshot of OP just like holding a bottle, like, oh God.
Do not let them in.
No, don't do it. And she refused to leave until she spoke with me. That was until security threatened to call the police. Grady don't want to go back to the pen, bro. She's already done that time. She doesn't want to go back to that life. She ended up screaming at him and then waddling back to her car. And that was it for that. But that was not the end of the story. Oh no. Because now that the only person still talking to my grandma was my older brother, I guess she was taking things out on him. No family scapegoats left for her to yell at. So she started going crazy on my brother since he was under her roof now. I know this because he sent me a letter since I blocked him on everything but snail mail. God, when you literally your only choice is to deliver a letter, you are just blocked on all platforms. My goodness. I got the letter after coming back from my honeymoon. It was a letter with a mix of apologies and blaming me. He said that he was sorry for wanting to propose at my wedding, and he sees how crummy it would have been to try that, and that I was right about him being underhanded in trying to ask his ex to marry him in front of so many people. Correct. But then he said he was angry he didn't get to go to my wedding because I couldn't overlook his traumas. Then he said he was sorry for letting grandma treat me the way she did for so long because now he's getting some of that himself. Then blamed me for getting grandma so worked up in the first place over yelling at her and then not letting her into my wedding. OP, you were getting so close, or OP's brother, you were getting so close, buddy. So freaking close. Then he went on to blame me for our parents kicking him out of their house and being stuck with grandma because she's driving him up the wall. They didn't kick him out. He left when they wanted him to pay rent properly. So now he's apartment hunting. He did apparently ask my parents to move back in with him, but they outright refused and told him to get his own place. And that's about it on that. And on a side note, my brother's ex-girlfriend still has not reached out to or spoken to anyone in my family since she last spoke with me. Not that I blame her. I barely know her anyways, and we have no mutual friends. I checked her social media recently though, and she seems just fine without my brother in her life. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Opie's brother doesn't sound like the best boyfriend ever. I know it's a bold statement to make, but I'm planting my flag on that one, Riley.
Yeah, it's a little bold, but I think there's some truth to it.
Yeah, just a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So if she reads this, I'll just say, good for you, live well, and don't ever let crazy like my brother back in again. And to my brother, whom I know will likely find this and read this soon, get a life, man. Stop blaming your crap on me and grow up. You're on your own, and the rest of us aren't going to hold you up anymore. And if you do manage to date again, don't screw it up like last time. You and I both know why things didn't work out with your ex. And I hope you realize now that running to Grammy and getting drunk won't help you anymore when you're 30 years old. The world doesn't revolve around you, so let it go. As for me, the honeymoon was great. We went out on the road and made it all the way to the coast. My wife also insisted on going cycling. I'm not much of a bicycle rider, but it was fun to go a couple of miles down a coast road, ended up dead tired, need to get in better shape. And Riley, believe it or not, we still have more updates to this story.
That wasn't it.
No, buddy.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Riley's afraid. Don't do it to him. I can't. Oh my gosh. But Riley, we got to the wedding. I will admit, I did want to see the brother try and crash the wedding. I cannot lie to you. I wanted to see the absolute mess that would have been. I honestly wasn't expecting the grandma to do it.
Yeah. 200 miles. Like, dang. She was committed.
Dude, if there's one thing Granny is, it is committed. But okay, so right now we have Granny who's like basically totally fallen out, has just completely gone off the rails, literally been thrown in jail. We also have OP's brother who, gosh dang it, was just so close to coming back around, and then he wasn't. I do want to ask again. I know we asked on the last update. Everyone watching, Riley, do we still feel at this juncture is OP being an a-hole? Get a life, get a job. Like, is OP being the a-hole?
No, I wouldn't say so. I hate that, like, the brother, well, the letter was crazy. Like, the whole back and forth, like, you're hot and then you're cold, you're yes and then you're no. Like, his brother's a piece of crap. Like, he's not an a-hole. He's letting out flat and he's fed up. He's like, hey, I ain't doing this anymore and I don't have to. So, like, good for him for, like, standing up to it,
Yeah, I think, like, it's a very, very reasonable thing at this point to be like, listen, you have caused so much insanity in my life. Like, I can't keep engaging with you if you're just going to keep doing this over and over and over and over and over again. Like, there's only so many times you can barf on my lawn and try to propose at my wedding before I'm just throw my hands up like, I don't know what to do anymore with you. Like,
I'm really glad, like, the parents went on a good path. Like, the parents for a minute were like, it wasn't looking too good, but now they're like,
that's right.
They're doing great.
Honestly, the biggest plot twist parents of any parents in OKOP history. Like, usually it's like, okay, the parents are delusional. They're just going along with, the antagonist of the story. Like, that always seems to go, but they were on the brother side and just a flip switch and they completely changed overnight.
They're in the housing market renter thing now. They're doing great. They're making it happen.
They're making it happen, dude. We need to have a Hall of Fame for, like, the OKOP Hall of Famers of, like, wildest thing, parents turning around in an instant. I want to think, what's one more? Can we muster up one more?
A wholesome one, the dude with the violin.
Yes. Wholesome award of the year. Absolutely. That would be a fun thing to do. Like an end of the year. Actually, that's kind of fun.
I know how this would happen, and I know who would have to watch every single video from the past year and make this happen.
Well, it's like, wait. I am not getting on board with this idea. My thought was similar to how you thought of the cello guy who, like, of our memory, because that's the only ones, like, worth anything. What was the biggest standouts of the year?
We might have to do that. Should we tease them? On what we're doing at the end of the year?
Maybe.
No, they'll figure it out.
Ooh, leaving him hanging. I like it. Well, there's one thing we won't leave him hanging with, though, Riley.
What's that?
The next update.
Another one.
All right, my boy. On to the next update. At first, my brother and grandmother only got worse. My grandmother turned into a crying whale again when my brother told her that he was moving out. Then he had the gall to ask for mine and our parents' help to move his stuff because grandma was saying that she wouldn't let him leave. But our parents just reminded him of the crap that he had done to end up in his current situation. And rather than act like a rational human being, he decided he would do just the opposite. He blamed me for ruining his life again. And my father told me that he basically busted a gut laughing at my brother when he said that. Then laid into my brother over how he was blaming his own crap on me. And my 30-year-old brother curled up in a chair crying. He was refusing to leave our parents' house that night and stayed curled up on the couch with a bottle of booze until the next day. Dude, I mean, at this point, my man just needs some serious help.
Yeah.
We need to do something because something is not.
Something's not clicking.
Yeah. In which he was kicked out by our parents with a raging hangover. Our father told him he needed to apologize to me for real, face to face, and that they'll no longer consider him their son if he doesn't.
Ultimatum.
Wow. And the parents were on his side in the beginning of the story. Wow. I am shocked. It took my brother a couple of days, but he showed up at my place with a piece of paper in hand and read out an apology that he'd pre-written. He said he was sorry for everything he's done. He's been a crappy person and an even crappier brother. He looked for any way he could possibly in his own head to make me the bad guy, but the excuses just aren't there anymore. He can't ever undo the things he did, but he wants to move forward and try to mend things and try to mend our relationship as siblings, starting with getting the F out of grandma's house. He told me he understands why none of us want to be there and that he'll hire help. We ended up shaking hands and having a hug. And thus far, he's actually been working hard on improving himself, even cutting down on his drinking by a lot.
Oh, bro hopped off the crazy train.
He finally came to his senses. I'm happy. That is good. That, you know what? Y'all give it up to him. Hopefully he stays on that path.
You know, this path of destruction we think OP is going through, it's just a circle. He's just helping people become the best versions of themselves.
Wow. OP, like, he just attracts just insane people and then spits out a whole person on the path to betterment.
Dude, go OP. Go OP.
Come on, OP. Whoa. Now, as for my grandma.
Oh.
Grandma has entered the chat again. She did try to keep my brother from moving out, and she refused to let the movers he hired in. God, he had to get the help of a police officer to keep her at bay. Bro, Granny was trying to throw her hands again. She's not trying to get locked up. She doesn't want to go back to D block. Lisa doesn't like her there. They only had to move out one room's worth of stuff. And with the movers and my brother working at it, they got all the stuff out there in record time. Oh my gosh. My grandma ended up threatening to unalive herself while he was leaving, or so my brother said. But I'm pretty sure that was the exact truth because she did actually try. Oh my goodness. But in the most attention-seeking way possible. She took a bunch of pills and then called 911 on herself. They took her to the hospital and got her stomach pumped, which was a bit redundant as she'd thrown up before the ambulance even arrived, but they wanted to be sure. My parents ended up getting adult protective services involved as grandma ended up on another psych hold, only this time in a hospital bed. During her stay, they did several tests on her because she avoided doctors for years and she was found to be in bad health. Her kidney function was low, her lungs weren't in very good shape, and she was at heavy risk of diabetes. So grandma had to be put in a care facility for her own health and safety. It actually didn't surprise me much. She was a little woman, but had some weight on her. And all her teeth had to come out when she was in her 50s because the only thing she would drink is soda and she ate a lot of sugary foods. She especially loved chocolate. She also used to be a heavy smoker in her younger years, and I guess that did some lasting damage to her lungs. She'd been having trouble breathing for some time, but somehow hid it from all of us. The doctors found that she needed to be put on oxygen and that she can't live alone anymore. She wanted my brother to come back and become her full-time caregiver, but he refused and said that he just can't, that he's got his own life to live and that he's got a lot to make up for with the rest of us as well. Well, my grandma went crazy crying and throwing things on the hospital while screaming at all of us to get out. After she was out of the hospital, my parents worked to have my grandma put in a care home. They moved a few of her personal belongings into a room there to try and make her more comfortable, but that didn't really do much of anything. She was there all of a week and said that she was incredibly miserable. All employees treated her like a child, and she had to have her oxygen breather attached to her at all times. She also said she hated being there because, in her words, the place is filled with old people. I could see that. And she hated being reminded that she's old too and would rather be alone. They had to put her on close observation 24/7, which only made her even more miserable. Each time we saw her, she begged us, even begged me to take her out of that place. She missed her home and she missed her old life, but she wasn't going anywhere because she was considered a danger to herself. Well, eventually, she just seemed to accept her fate that she would spend the rest of her life there in the care home, and my grandma pretty much just shut down. She became that bitter old woman that hardly talks to anyone. We paid her regular visits, but she was never happy to see us, me especially, and the months just blurred together with this routine. Things seemed to change a little when we told her my wife was pregnant, and she perked up at that. My wife reluctantly let her feel her belly when we visited, and that seemed to make her day. If anything, it made grandma a bit nicer to all of us, but she generally still was her mean old self. Then some time ago, we found out that grandma passed away in her sleep. The funeral was a bit lackluster. My mother was really the only one who cried. Most of us were really quiet the whole time. And then we had a small family reunion at my parents' house. But if anyone here was thinking we'd be singing Ding Dong the the witch is dead. Well, no. Damn, I hope no one was thinking that. You would definitely be the a-hole. My God. It was mostly just awkward conversations, as a lot of us didn't have much good to say about her. And she'd already passed away, so what good would it do of any of us to talk about how toxic of a person she was in life either? So there wasn't much to do but stand around and get a little wasted. And we did. But it was more like a party full of sad, quiet drunks. Damn. Everyone dressed in black and gulping down beer or wine. Anytime someone wanted to do something fun, it would just get really awkward till they shut up or decided to stay quiet or leave. And my wife wasn't there. She stayed home after the funeral because she couldn't drink and didn't want to be surrounded by people drinking. My brother is showing some genuine improvement. Grandma was his biggest enabler, and she's no longer with us. He applied for therapy last year to try and get to better understand himself and make an effort for change. For now, he's trying to help out our father with remodeling the attic in his spare time. And things are still awkward between us anytime we see each other. Right now, I can't say how things will go in the long run at all. But without Grandma's toxicness, hopefully everything will change for the better. As for Grandma's estate, well, her will was surprisingly fair. We were all certain my brother would get everything since he was her favorite. But instead, my parents got her house, and they are working to get it ready to be rented out. The rest of Grandma's money and assets were pretty evenly distributed. Well, mostly. I didn't get much. No surprises there, I guess. But I didn't want it either. I'm doing fine. I didn't need it. I guess that concludes everything.
Wow.
Producer Riley, we have been on a roller coaster of emotions, plot twists we never could have seen, villains that appeared, people that went from villain to hero. My goodness.
Yeah, they hit everything. There was a wedding in there. There was a little pregnancy. There was a will inheritance. There was a guy that got fired. Some like work drama. Dude, what a story.
All of the story genres OKOP fans love crammed into one mega story.
Honestly, I'm voting this one for best of the year. The grandma stuff got a little dark, but other than that, it was pretty good.
Interesting.
It was good to see the brother like figure his stuff out and like going to therapy and doing it.
Yeah, this story, I would say, like, we do not often get turnarounds, right? It's usually like OP's going through this crap. Antagonist is just a complete idiot who is just doing their things their own way, like messing it up for everyone else. The parents instantly switched. Opie's brother, he went on a journey. Yes, he did. But he did eventually start to come back around.
The parents, I feel like they saw this as a money opportunity. They were like, no, like the brother's right. And then they were like, oh, if we kick him out, we can get renters. And then whenever grandma died, they're like, we're going to get renters. And they're like making money off of it.
I do like how they low-key just became real estate moguls by all of the family drama. Just straight up monopoly. I'm buying Broadway Boulevard, baby. I'm putting all the houses there.
Yeah. How do you feel about the story and everything that went through it? Like, how do you feel for OP? Is OP still the a-hole through all of this?
I think, a lot of times the OPs in these stories, they just get walked all over and whatnot. Maybe there was a little bit more empathy that OP could have deployed when handling some of these situations. But I mean, ultimately, like everyone else was in the wrong and like by 1,000 miles, not by an inch.
Yeah.
So I can't blame OP for like trying to figure out, okay, how do I stop my insane family from like ruining my wedding and my marriage and my life and like all of these different things, because they were trying. They were sure trying.
Yeah.
And I'm very glad that the brother, is turning back around. At least the grandma got some help and had, a little bit of, some health support, and
the baby helped. Yeah.
Yeah, the baby helped. I think that probably kind of snapped her out of it a little bit, and, she's probably going through a lot too in her life, like all of her teeth fell out, I guess, in her 50s and like all of these other things. That's probably just a tip of the iceberg from what we know. So she was probably dealing with a lot as well and had her own traumas and things brought into the equation that were just coming out. I wonder why she favored the brother. I wonder what goes through people. Do they just pick one just to like?
Well, she liked to eat a lot of bad stuff and, drink a lot of, she liked to put bad things into her body that made her lose all her teeth. Not saying all those things are bad, but like she just maybe a character trait of her,
Yeah, she just like is taking in the bad always. Man, producer Riley always throwing them fire predictions in there. Well, we really want to know what you all think. Was Opie the a-hole? Was he too harsh when he was handling everything? We definitely want to know. We definitely want to hear your comments below. And Riley, I did want to to tell you real quick a little story.
Dude, I was going to ask you about it. I was about to remind you about it.
So if you remember, we were talking about the part where OP bought the taxi for his brother and then brought his brother back to his grandma's house. Well, this was the fateful eve of 2020. I had just moved to Los Angeles. I was living in a co-living house with 30 other people right before COVID. Thankfully got out right before it went down. And I had a few friends, and one of my friends was an artist, and he was performing at this like New Year's Eve party in like a Los Angeles mansion, like overlooking the city. Like when you imagine like, you know, classic like Ty Lopez House in the Hills, like that's exactly what this place was. So, you know, they were like, it's black tie. So I like bought a suit from H&M, and they literally got me on the list at the last second because they had originally given the ticket to my boy Matt, actually, but he couldn't make it. So they threw me in last second. So we get there and it's like, dude, it's super lit. It's like open bar, free drinks, catered out the wazoo. Just like, I'm talking like a 100-foot table just full of spreads of, you know, like charcuterie boards and like sandwiches and brownies and like all this stuff. There's like an infinity pool overlooking the whole city. Like, dude, it was absolutely sick. Like, I was like, this is the LA that people have been talking about. And like, you know, thinking like, oh, I made it. Here we go. This is amazing. And then, you know, the night's going great. We do the countdown to midnight. Everyone goes crazy. We're dancing. We're partying. It is just an absolute vibe. I think our friend, I can't remember if we saw our friend perform or not, but we saw him there, dapped him up. And then at maybe like 1 a.m., our boy, let me give him a fake name. I almost said his real name. Greg. Let's call him Greg.
Greg.
Our boy Greg. I could see he was getting a little sloppy throughout the night. Me and the other people were like, we were drinking and having fun and definitely like a little inebriated. We had Ubered there, but like we were standing, talking, you know, all of that stuff. But he was talking to someone and literally like in mid-sentence just almost free falls into her. And then we had to like catch him, and he almost like knocked over a side table and a lamp like in this expensive ass house. Who walks in but the wife? You know, there's a couple that own the house, obviously. The wife walks in and was like, all right, thanks so much, so goodbye, hope you had fun, like see you later, like clearly sarcastically being like GTFO.
Yeah.
So, and then the other guy there was just like, he was like trying to make connections and like all this stuff, and it was just like dude, we're at this like party for free. We got in because we're boys with this guy who performed, you know, it's like being pretty melodramatic. And then no one had service but me. So I called the Uber. And so the Uber gets here, and our boy Greg is so out of it by this point. We literally had to like put him on our shoulders and like walk him out, you know, guide him down. We get in the car. The Uber driver tells he's drunk, and he's like, oh, can't wait for this guy to throw up in my car. And I'm like trying to smooth things over, and I'm being like, oh, hey, you know, no worries. Like, we got him. Like, we're watching him. Yeah, that's why we wanted to, you know, get an Uber now and like make sure he's set and like take him home, make sure he's safe and all that stuff. And so I'm like trying to make small talk to him to get him distracted. And then next thing you know, Greg goes, what? And just ukes all over the back seat. And I know it's on my account and it's like all terrible. And then so I'm just like, so how's being a kindergarten teacher? Like right after he just spews chunks everywhere. And I'm like, this is the worst. How did this go from the best night to the worst night ever? We get home. The other guy who was like trying to like network and make connections just storms inside. He's like, I'm done with this. And I was like, bro, you cannot leave me out here. So I get this guy on my shoulder. At this point, I am legit. He is not walking. I am carrying him
dead weight
into the house on my shoulders, like his arm around my shoulders, just dragging him in, lay him down. He starts puking more all over the place. And at this point, I'm like, does he have, you know, poisoning? You know, like, is it at that level? Like, does it need to be pumped out of his system? So I decided to call 911.
What?
And a huge fire truck with like 15 dudes come pouring into this house of 30 people. Which also, by the way, just classic irony. The place was so terribly managed. They had like a smoke alarm that had been going off like for like 2 weeks. So the firefighters like later made a joke on that, which was hilarious. But they tested him. It wasn't like all the way at that point. And then they were like, all right, here's what you need to do. You need to get a filled backpack. You need to put the backpack on him, take him upstairs and watch him and make sure he doesn't roll over. Because if he rolls over, the vomit goes straight and then back in, and then he can choke on it. So I was like, dang, okay. So I drag his ass upstairs. The firefighters leave, put a backpack on his dumb ass, and I sit there until like 3:30, 4 a.m. And I'm like, all right, I've done my duty. I'm clocking out and I'm going to bed. And the next day, like we all wake up at, 10 or 11, like late in the day. He Venmos me back the 150 and is like, I think I texted him. I was like, hey, here's what happened tonight. You might not remember any of it, but got charged 150, sent me the 150 back. And that was my New Year's of January 2020.
Wow. Well, that year was pretty crappy.
It was a foreshadow of exactly what was to come.
That is true. Yeah. I was currently in Atlanta at the world's largest, Christian thing, whatever. There was like 70,000 people and it turned New Year's. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Damn. Dude, our 2019 or 2020 New Year's was just on a different level, apparently.
Yeah. But dude, that's insane though. Like the backpack thing. So like he couldn't what'd you put in
roll
it?
Over. It was just his backpack that I just put on him. So that way so he can't roll. The problem is if he rolls on his face too, but mostly on his back.
Okay.
Because then he could start choking.
Oh.
Was what they told me. Yeah.
That's smart though, the backpack thing. Huh.
I know, right? And they gave him like some sort of tablet to help break it down and like all these other things. So
dude, that was a W friend moment. Like, wow. You got him home. You made sure he was okay. Wow. Everybody give clapping hands for John. If you made it this far and you're here and you heard this great of a person he is, just give him some claps. That is amazing.
Yeah. I'd love to hear anyone who's watching still. I would love to hear your crazy New Year stories. I'm sure you've got some crazy ones. Put them on the comments on YouTube. By the way, we're also taking comments on our Spotify now and approving those. So drop it in Spotify if you're listening on the podcast. We would love to see those.
Should my brother and I invite my brother's crush to Chinese New Year? This is OKOP, the home of the craziest stories on earth. I'm Sam. John, Danielle, what do you think? Off rip, should they invite the crush?
Yes, absolutely. Why not invite a crush?
Would you like if your crush went to your New Year's party?
Well, am I prepared?
You're not prepared. It's a surprise.
Okay, it's a surprise. Ooh,
and you had no idea.
What do I look like?
Like this.
Oh, so I look hot. Great.
There it is.
Perfect.
Boom.
Yeah, absolutely. Invite them.
All right. Well, let's see what actually happened. So we come from a conservative East Asian family. My brother came out years ago, but my parents reacted so badly, he basically went back into the closet. This was all before I was born. Wow, there's like lore before you were even born, because it's also the ages. So brother and I are 17 male and 17 female. So those are the two. Right. Yeah. So that's OP and brother. And then the brother is 32 male and the crush is 30 male.
So there's a
big age, third, like a 15-year
age difference.
Yeah, age difference.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's cool to have lore before
before you were born.
Yeah, I guess everyone has lore because you come from your parents. Anyway, 4 years ago, my parents moved back to our home country as their business was doing better there, and left my brother and I with my older brother, and we've been doing great. I only see my parents twice a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they're basically like 17 living on their own.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Or the older brother now just has like 2 kids now.
Low key.
That's probably more what's happening.
Early 30s, teenagers.
Hey, I'll say right now, I'm 31 and I have 2 16-year-old siblings.
And do you raise them?
When I go home, it's always fun.
Not
anymore.
Not like in practice.
No, not actually.
So you actually have a similar age
This
difference
is similar.
It is very similar.
What?
Is it from the same 2 sets of parents?
I mean, yes, 2 sets of parents, but They're both my half siblings.
Half siblings.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Okay. I wonder if these are. I don't think it says if they're half siblings or not.
We don't know.
Yeah, I got that too. My younger brothers are like 10 years younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, not that crazy. Yeah.
Hey, everyone has it. I
Yeah,
just have
we got
one
close
freaking
age
sister.
siblings. Wow, look at us, 2.5 years.
He's also started to come out again, and my parents don't do anything because they are too far away, and also they don't want to ruin our education or income by having my brother refuse to take care of us, so they pretend not to know, which is
Interesting.
kind of
Don't ask,
fucked up.
don't tell.
yeah.
Jeez.
Oh.
Yoinks.
My brother and I are supportive though. The thing is, there's a little Asian cafe that opened up at the start of last year, and it's got all kinds of handmade Asian sweets and pastries, both traditional and fusion. It's run by a brother and sister, and the brother is the baker / barista, and he's gay.
Ooh, am I sensing a potential
little
bakery
crush?
cutie going on? I'm gonna
That is like the most meet cute thing ever.
Come
Go
on.
into the bakery, get a croissant, and
meeting
then come
the
out
baker,
married.
dating the baker.
I
Definitely.
know.
Sold.
Definitely.
The
So
smells would be phenomenal in that household.
I just came home from a long day of work. Yeah, you smell like a fresh croissant.
Oh man, I want to lick that
Dang.
thing up. So my brother is and has a huge crush on him, and that's huge with like 10 youth.
I mean, how
Wow.
can't you?
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
can't you?
obviously.
I mean, man is literally smells like a snack.
Yep.
I know because we got to the cafe every Saturday morning for family breakfast, and they always make hard eyes at each other and smile a lot.
Aw.
Cute.
That is so cute.
The sister also always makes her brother serve mine when he comes in every day, and it's always talking up her brother to mine. So it's like all the siblings are kind
Everyone's
of
like,
orchestrating
everyone's
it.
in on it.
Everyone wants it to
Conspiring for
happen,
cuteness.
except the parents. But who? I mean, they're all the way away in a different country. Hopefully,
Hopefully,
forever.
I mean, we'll see
I imagine there's going to be something that.
goes awry.
Yeah, because we're not just reading a happy
Yes.
story
Danny, we're on Reddit.
Yeah, we're
That's
on
where we
Reddit.
are.
where relationships come to die, which I'm sure is not the slogan that they want.
Not at all.
We all go to the cafe every day. My older brother every day before work, and us after school. And I think they really like us because they give us extra snacks and stuff.
We love snacks.
We love snacks. Yeah, I feel like that's a sign that you like someone is extra snacks.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I'll give you a snack. Go
I'll
on.
give you a snack too.
I'll give you a snack. All right. My brother and I also talk up our older brother to her brother, but none of them have made a move. His sister has told us that her brother has a crush on ours. So, Chinese New Year is coming around soon, and I'm wondering if my brother and I should invite them around since their family is also overseas. So they don't have like a family to celebrate New
Yeah.
Year's. with.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This is perfect.
No parents.
No parents,
Yeah.
it's just
lit.
love.
It's lit.
My oldest brother normally makes a traditional dinner. The sister has said they don't have any plans for Chinese New Year. And my brother's crush has offered to give me the recipe to make Chinese New Year desserts. Can I or my brother invite him over to our house for help when my oldest brother will be around? He's offered to teach me to make them anyway. Or should I leave it? And there is a big, fat, juicy update.
Ooh.
But Danny, since you're the guest on the show, what do you think with this extra context? Should they go ahead and invite?
Yes. Always.
Always.
Yeah.
Can I ask, are they like, oh, we want them to come help prepare? Is that the hesitancy?
Well, I think it's more like, would my brother even like this?
Because it's like, it's the crush. I don't want to like surprise.
And also, it sounds like he's like coming out, but he's not fully out either. And so is it presumptuous to like intermingle maybe his dating life with his family life?
Stir the tea. Why not?
Start.
Yeah, get in
Daddy
there.
wants to
Yeah.
see
That's
love
what I'm saying.
burn through all of this. Yeah.
Burn through the oven of our hearts of croissants.
I think it would be.
Yeah,
it would be
because
fine.
like all you're doing is bringing everyone together.
Yeah.
You're not like, hey, here's Mr. Baker.
And the parents aren't there. It sounds like it's just like their two kind of families hanging out. It's not like a big family thing. Yeah.
What's wrong with hanging out?
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
We're hanging out.
We're hanging out.
There's
We're hanging
everything
out.
right
nothing
with
wrong.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong.
Sorry, real quick. If you don't mind, just a
Further up.
Perfect.
I had a
Yeah.
feeling.
There we go.
As close as possible.
Professional.
You want to be smooching the mic almost.
All
Yeah,
right.
basically.
We got it close.
Yeah.
Better?
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. So, are you ready for the update? We'll see what actually happens.
Do it.
My twin brother and I talked to my oldest brother yesterday about inviting the brother and sister over for Chinese New Year because they didn't have any family.
Aw.
He just laughed at us and said yes, it was fine, and said he knew exactly what we were up to with the Baker brother, but in a really kind of smirky kind of way.
Let's
So
go.
kind of like he wants it. He's like,
Yeah.
I think they've already been talking or maybe even dating. But he refused to say any more than that and kept telling us to get ready for school and that good things take time, much like baking a nice croissant, and acting all wise and older brotherly and just being annoying.
Spill the tea. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Now, come on. They're 17. They deserve a little tea. They're old enough for tea.
That's right.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, do you tell your siblings about your dating life?
I do.
Yeah.
Well, I tell one of them.
Okay.
The sister, yes. The brother, not so much.
not?
But that's a good question. I don't know. I think just because she talks to me more, she
Okay.
asks for advice. You know.
Right. And is it maybe like a maturity thing too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
And she's always like, "Ooh, who are you dating nowadays?"
Yeah, it's like fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I told him he'd better get married by the end of the year so I could get more red pockets next Chinese New Year, and he just laughed at me. When I went to the cafe after school today, his crush told me that my brother had invited them over for Chinese New Year, so I was like, oh, really? And he kind of laughed at me too and told me I was a good sibling. So they are clearly together or together adjacent or something. Maybe they want to announce it on Chinese New Year. But when my brother asked me what I wanted to eat on Chinese New Year, I gave him a list of wedding foods, and he asked me if I was getting married, but he's just been laughing at me and my brother the whole time. So we've just been annoying each other back and forth until he bought us ice cream and told us to shut up. But he did give us hugs out of the blue yesterday and today. So I think I'll just leave it at that and they can take their own time with whatever it is they have going on. But I do kind of want to tease him because I have a little sister privileges and I can only abuse them for another year. And actually, it did end up all happy because that's it. I was really, Riley's starting this off easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Overloading
We
with
love
cuteness
that.
today.
That is really cute.
I
That
want to
is
know
really
about
cute.
the wedding food. Like, what was on the menu?
on the menu?
Just like white cakes.
Yeah. That would be hilarious.
Yeah, just like a massive wedding cake.
Yeah. Hey everyone, welcome to the party. We have cake and cake.
Yeah.
That's all we have.
That's it.
And we have a presider here.
we
to
have
do all-
gathered here today to eat these white cakes and celebrate the new year.
Shut-a-bites?
Sushi.
Ooh,
Yeah. I
I
sushi
feel like
station.
anything could be wedding food though.
Asparagus.
Yeah. I mean, like, I guess finger food.
Yeah.
Or, well, I mean, sometimes they just like.
I mean, but they have like chicken, like chicken
I
or
wonder
fish
because they
or-
were talking about traditional Chinese New Year. Is there traditional
Traditional
Chinese
wedding food.
Wedding food. I wonder.
like
I
you know how
wonder.
like they throw like rice at weddings and stuff.
They
don't
do
that
that.
anymore.
Not anymore.
What do you mean?
yeah,
Why not?
the birds die.
Thank you.
Is it because their stomachs explode because they
They choke on it, I think, on the rice.
Okay,
Sam,
story
Am I
time.
right?
You have an
Yeah.
okay story time for
They can't digest
have
it.
an okay story
Yeah.
time?
Perfect. You can tell it right now.
When I was in high school, I was on the swim team and there was a water polo team, right? And like the swim team was kind of like more like innocent kids, and the water polo team were like the weed smoking, skipping school kind of kids,
boys.
the bad boys. I was on the water polo team for the first year, but then it wasn't quite. Yeah.
And always stayed on the
No,
water
no, no,
polo
no, no.
team.
I wasn't a bad boy. I'm a good boy. Apparently, what one of my friends said, the water polo team, when they would like skip school, they would go with bags of rice to the beach and just throw the bags of rice on the beach for the seagulls to eat. And the seagulls would eat the bags of rice.
Okay.
And then like moments later, maybe
I'm waiting
it
for
was an hour
exploding
later,
birds.
seagulls would be raining down from the sky because their stomachs would explode.
I feel like this is a lie.
Tell me why. This is what I heard.
I mean, so many reasons. Do birds' tummies explode that fast?
I don't know.
allegedly.
I'm saying maybe over the course of like
We
hours.
need some YouTube here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need some
How long? This is what I heard. This could
Yeah.
be just propaganda from the swim
There's
team to
no
the water
way.
polo team.
There's no way.
Danny, I love
You need
that
water
Danny,
in there too.
Yeah, Danny was like
But they have
actually
water.
questioning it. Yeah.
And it's not going to expand that much.
Will a bird explode if it eats rice? What an incredible title to a article. What does it say?
Hours for rice too.
The theory goes that it will eventually cause them to explode. Okay.
So it causes them to explode. Don't look any further.
Oh my gosh. Well, okay. At a minimum, if their stomachs don't explode, maybe it's just so disorienting. Oh
Yeah.
no.
I love how this guy's like, will this seagull explode?
Wow.
Let's test it.
Will it
Mythbuster.
explode? Oh my gosh. But at least I could see them falling out of the air though. Yeah. Because their like organs are.
Yeah, I don't know if they.
Don't do
really
it. Don't
sad.
eat it.
Oh my-
Wait.
Okay.
Okay. Wow, they got us, Danny.
you.
They
got you.
us.
All right, let us know in the comments if seagull's stomach explodes. And also, did you have a bad boy group on campus? Was yours also the water polo kids? Let us know in the comments.
Those rascals.
Those rascals. But you know what I want to know, John?
What do you want to know?
I want to know this next story that you're going to tell me in my ears.
Let me read it to your face. What is a sister mom? I was like, oh, my sweet dear Danny.
Let's just educate you.
Don't forget about the uncle dads and the cousin brothers.
Oh yeah, we did have a cousin brother.
Yeah, we did have an Uncle Dad. I always see
Uncle Dad
I
is
saw
my
a bunch
favorite.
of Uncle Dad comments.
We should do a bracket or S tier of the uncle dads
Uncle
and the sister
dads,
moms.
yeah.
Who's our favorite?
Just merch Uncle Dad.
Uncle Dad. I'm for it.
I
for
want a
it here.
story where someone's like their own grandpa.
Their own grandpa. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's super
Oh.
complex.
Wait, you're your own grandfather? I mean, this is time travel. There's no other way.
No, there's a way.
Really?
Okay. How can I be my own grandfather?
They put it in chat GPT.
But that's that's how you make it happen.
It's Martha's Garden
So you
Professor
marry-
Dr.
You
Med.
marry a widow,
Okay.
and I guess they were together, and then you.
Well, no, but it doesn't say the. Oh, is it the widow? No, it's not.
What?
Step 1, marry widow. Step 2, my father marries my wife's daughter. My father is now my son-in-law. My stepdaughter is now my mother. Step 3, my son is now my father's son-in-law. My father is now my uncle. If my father is my uncle, I am also the brother of my wife's daughter, who is also my mother. Step 4, their son is my grandchild, as he is my daughter's son. My wife is now my mother's mother, which makes her my grandma too. If my wife is my grandma, then I am her grandchild as my husband, as husband of my grandma. I am my own grandpa.
Wow.
Thank you, Reddit.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, bro. That's how you make it happen.
All
I just
right,
put that in there.
Is that what's in your future, Riley?
No, not at all. I just want to meet someone that is like this.
All right. Hit us with it, John.
Let's do it. I'm gonna freestyle this title. Are you ready?
Please do, go.
I refuse to live with my brother-in-law any longer. He hates me. Man.
I got nothing for that one.
I got nothing
get out
for
of
ya.
there. Get out of there.
So my husband is 29 and I'm 25, and we bought our house 4 years ago. We bought it for roughly $200K, and because it's a 30-year loan, we have a long way to go before it's paid off. We pay a little more than what our monthly minimum is to stay ahead. By the way, this comes from Lumpy Platform 7821 on the OK Storytime subreddit. So, side note, my husband, let's call him John, and I have separate accounts because he feels that I am stupid with money.
Okay.
Like,
Good start here.
okay. He doesn't agree with how I spend it. I save as much as I need from each paycheck, and I like to invest the rest. Each paycheck is broken down. 3% 401k, 3% vacation, 5% investing account 1, 10% emergency, 10% groceries, 15% investing account 2, 25% bills, 29% fun and other needs. Just by that breakdown alone, it seems like OP's fairly good at taking care of money.
Apparently not.
But, well, I also think that, you know what, maybe it's just easier at this point just to have the separate accounts, because that way OP can spend the money that
Wait,
the way
how
that
much
she
percent
wants.
how much percent was used for fun?
29%.
Should be 80%.
80%. Bring it up.
Bring up all the fun.
John feels that my investing accounts are stupid because that money can be used somewhere else or could be used as a bigger monthly payment on the house, but you get more money in the long run. I disagree because if a bigger emergency pops up, it's nice to have the money and to know the money is there if I need it. Also, I'm making even more money with investing. Not a lot more, but it takes time with investing. John likes to put his whole paycheck towards extra payments on his car, house, or other payments. He doesn't spend his money on ridiculous nonsense, but he is very right now oriented while I'm very future oriented.
This is just two different people, two different spending habit mindsets.
Which, again,
both work. It's
both
just,
are fine, but don't tell another person, especially if you have separate accounts. Don't
tell your
another
person.
person.
That's not fun.
Yeah. So John approached me with an idea that he came up with. The housing market had gone up, so we actually have roughly $100K in equity. He wants us to sell our house, have his brother, let's call him Mark, sell his house, roughly $200K in equity, and combine our equities to buy a $500K, 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom house. WTF. What? Why?
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 That's a weird idea. I asked John why he wants to do this so much. He said that it's because he's tired of paying a mortgage payment and doesn't want to pay one, but you would still have to pay one. I don't. Maybe I'm
he's
not
in the
getting
he's in
something.
the very right now.
Yeah. We're in our 20s. We don't have the luxury of being mortgage free. I don't understand. When I first met John, he lived with Mark. When I first moved in with John, he was living with Mark. So I've lived with Mark and his roommate, let's call him Alex, before. To say we don't like each other is an understatement. They don't like my upbringing, therefore I'm not good enough. But
What?
let's pretend we're on good terms. Mark and Alex are both slobs. I mean, if the dog poops in their room, they'll just leave it? Ew. Also, train your dog. The dishes grow their own ecosystem, and don't get me started on the bathroom. Also, between the four of us, there was only one bathroom, and Alex would hog it to the point that I had to drive to a gas station several times just to use the bathroom. Mark has a past relationship that was an alcoholic, so he is 100% against alcohol. I can't have a glass of wine without him having a tantrum.
Thank you for the mansplaining.
I mean, yelling at me for having alcohol in the house. But it was his house, so I got rid of it. By got rid of it, I mean I drank it and didn't buy more. Really quick. Don't live with this man. Like, no. If your partner's bringing up this, possibility of you guys living together, be like, absolutely
Why?
not.
Yeah.
Literally no. If you want to live with them, fine, but I refuse.
Is he so oblivious to knowing that you don't want to
Yeah. It just feels like he's very, everything has to be his way. Even with the money, with Mark, the fiance has.
I would have been like, why can't Mark get his own place?
Yeah.
Or why do we have to live with Mark?
Alex was a college campus officer when I lived with them. And oh boy, was he wasted with power. Alex never had a relationship, so anytime John and I got into a normal couple argument, Alex would try to talk him into breaking up with me because I wasn't good enough.
This is a very toxic living
super
situation.
Toxic environment. Yeah.
Ugh.
Even if John started the argument, it was still my fault to Alex. And John and I have both started arguments. We are a couple. It's normal. They weren't toxic arguments either. Alex was also abusive towards my two cats. Literally, no. Don't move in with them. They didn't know him, so at first they hissed at him. So Alex started hitting them.
What? Dude.
Oh my God.
If someone hit my pets,
I would be
I'm hitting them in the face.
furious.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'm hitting you.
He also hid one of my cats from me while I spent hours searching the neighborhood thinking she got out. This man is crazy. Right before COVID, I was diagnosed with cancer and I had a mental breakdown. 6 months later, my father died from a gas leak at home and I was the person to find him. That is terrible. So I was extremely fragile and I had to seek out professional help because I wasn't able to function. Mind you, my family didn't have to force me to get help. I knew I needed help and got it on my own. While seeking out help, both Alex and Mark sat down with John, who was my fiance at this point, and tried to convince him to call off our engagement. Obviously, Mark and Alex are their own problems, but the fact that John is not putting his foot down, seemingly.
The fact that he's willingly wanting to hear them out.
Willing to live with Mark again is ridiculous.
This is bad.
Hearing this was the last straw for me, and I told John that I am moving out because I'm unwilling to live with Alex and Mark anymore. So we bought our house. Alex has been upgraded from a SpongeBob tie and hall monitor badge and is now a county sheriff and is a bigger a-hole than ever. Dang. Literally the freaking, the hall monitor guy becomes the sheriff.
That guy's going to be the worst.
Who gave him a gun? Why would they do that?
Oh, you went over the limit by one mile per hour. Ticket.
Now, John is asking me to be willing to sell our house and get a bigger one with Mark and Alex. Mark will be the primary owner because he'll pay 2/3 of the down payment. Mark also owes John $50K. So I tried to explain an alternative idea that if Mark pays John $500 a month for roughly 8 years and we use the $500 plus our current payment towards a house, then our house would be paid off roughly September 2037. Currently, our payoff date is roughly 2042. If he owes you $50K, you could still make him pay the $50K.
Yeah, what does Mark have over
I don't know.
John?
Yeah. If we buy a $500K house and use $300K as a down payment, the loan will be $200K, which is our current loan. But interest rates have more than doubled and taxes and homeowners insurance on a bigger house, so it will cost more. If we paid $750 each month, $3K between the four, we wouldn't pay off that loan until roughly 2035, a 2-year difference from my alternative plan. That's it. Then what? If we do this, then Mark would have put more money into this, and if we want to leave, Mark would have to buy us out. We would have to sell and leave with about as much as we will have if we stay put. Or if we want to buy Mark out, then we would have to sell or make payments to Mark. I thought the point was not wanting to make payments. John is frustrated with me because I have shared this with him, and I told him that I am not willing to live with Alex and Mark again. I want to be comfortable in my own house. I want to be able to drink wine and sing Disney music without being judged.
Oh man, yeah, that sounds
You
like a
deserve
blast.
this. I
That sounds like a
don't
blast.
want to have to stress about them trying to convince my husband to leave me. And we know that you would never leave us and that you would join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube. Just tap our profile.
Tap it.
And there is a little bit left to the story, but yeah, you absolutely should put your foot down on this. Don't let John kind of bully you into moving in with Mark and Alex again, because you already know how that's going to be.
I understand if like you guys were financially struggling and you needed help.
Yeah.
Sure. But it looks like you guys have
Looks
a
like you're
plan.
fine.
You guys have a literal plan.
And you've bought a house.
Why does John need his buddies to be there
Yeah.
in your house?
Also, if you guys, their fiance or husband now, if you guys are thinking about children, do you really want to be living with two other guys who are actively trying to break you guys up?
They're gross guys. by
Yeah,
the
gross
way.
guys.
It's like, ugh. I don't understand. Again, I feel like
I don't understand John.
I don't understand John.
I don't
Why
like
is
him.
John has been controlling OP's
Yes.
living situation per se for a while now.
Yeah, and also trying to control her finances.
I think he just likes control.
Yeah, I don't
obviously.
like John is a red flag.
John's a red flag, but he should like the fact that you have a straight up plan
Yeah.
laid out.
That's
he's
better than
he's
his.
like, no, that's not it.
So God, I don't want to pay the mortgage, and Opie's like, you're still gonna have to
It's
pay
gonna be
stuff.
sooner or later.
Yeah. I feel like as my husband, he shouldn't be pressuring me to live in an environment that isn't good for me. But he keeps telling me that I don't understand. I'm not good with money. I hate him. When it comes to money, I don't know what I'm talking about. He feels very mansplaining. He feels very misogynist. He's like, you don't know. No, trust me. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm not being supportive. I need to learn to forgive and be willing to give a second chance. But where do I go if a second chance doesn't work out? Even if this was better for us financially, which I don't believe it is, I'm not willing to put myself in that environment again. Sorry for how long this ended up being. It wasn't meant to be so long, but once I started typing it out, it just kept coming. Am I the a-hole here?
No.
What? Absolutely not. John is the a-hole.
Why is John so adamant about just
I hate John.
calling you out for no reason? There's nothing
Literally.
to be called out for.
Honestly, separate side note from the story, like obviously do not, give in. Don't move back in with Mark and Alex. Don't let your husband convince you to do that. But separate side note, I'm really worried about the relationship with Opie's husband.
100%.
He's just so controlling, as we said, and it doesn't feel healthy.
It seems like he's not respecting any of her wishes or
and
requests.
actively belittling her.
Oh, 100%.
It's like, oh, you don't know money.
Like,
So
you don't
so
know what you're
rude.
doing. You don't know what you're doing, even
It's
though
like
you
you're
know
partners.
exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know exactly what you
To the
wanted.
point where you have like, you're investing and stuff, and that's a very, that takes knowledge.
The fact that you had a graph of
Yeah.
like your spending habits,
Yeah,
that's already
You had
blowing my mind out
percentages.
of proportion. Yeah.
Yeah. My brother kept insulting me at the family gathering, so my husband started swinging.
Left and right, left and right, duck, dodge.
Sorry for the throwaway account. I have colleagues on my main account, and I want to keep this as private as possible, but I also need advice. As my title says, basically. This past weekend, me and my husband were over at my parents' house for a barbecue. The day was going great until my brother, for some reason, started to have a go at me, calling me names and belittling me. My husband pulled my brother aside and had a talk with him, and the insult stopped. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Battle Pit 393 on the OK Storytime subreddit. So an hour or so later, we were standing around talking with some friends and family members, and my brother comes up to me and told me I'm a whore. His exact words were, you're an effing whore, right?
What? Why? Where?
What is his problem?
I'm just here for the barbecue.
Opie's at the barbecue, and he's like... And Opie's
This
"What?"
potato salad is smacking, and then you get called that?
He said it loud enough for almost everyone at the party to hear. All I saw was my husband next to me look at me. Then I felt a push to the side, my husband stepping in front of me, and the next thing was my brother out cold on the ground with blood on his face. Damn!
Nice.
Damn! All I heard is my mother yelling and my husband saying, "You don't talk to my wife like that. I warned you already."
Wow, you guys got a barbecue and a show.
Before I continue, my husband didn't hurt me. He didn't push me hard or anything like that. Don't know how to describe it, but it was like a push that someone will give you when they're trying to pass. I went like one step back, that's all. I am not mad at my husband. I'm mad at my brother the whole day. He was demeaning me, insulting me, belittling me. I don't know where this came from, as he's never talked to me like that or to anyone that I know of. I wonder what he thought he knew. I'm wondering if he thought like OP
Did we
cheated
get ages?
or something.
Did we get ages or anything like that?
No.
No
did
ages. Okay. I feel like if we read more, we're going to find out why.
I think the brother probably thought he found out something about OP, like she was cheating or something like that.
Or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But also maybe intoxicated.
Also
but
possible.
I don't know. We didn't get that detail.
The bigger problem is that I have to choose either my husband or my parents. My parents are pissed and have given me an ultimatum. I either leave my husband and divorce him, wow, or they cut me off completely. I mean, are they not going to do anything about this brother?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Do you understand why?
Yeah,
like the
come
husband
on.
was defending OP.
My husband doesn't give a crap that they're mad. The only thing he's mad about is that he only got one punch in. His words. I love my husband and don't want to lose him, but I also don't want to lose my parents. They've supported me through a lot and have always been there for me. I know they're serious as this is the first time they have ever issued me with an ultimatum. They also threatened my husband with an assault charge, but he doesn't care and welcomed them to do it. Yeah. I mean, I don't think that violence is ever the answer, but I also understand that from OP's perspective, her husband was defending her.
Yes. And he did give warning.
Yeah. I'm stuck between a decision that will change my life forever and I'm panicking. I have received messages from friends and other family members that have given me support and condemned my husband, but they are leaning more on the support side. Any advice will be appreciated. Edit to clarify, I'm choosing my husband. I have never questioned that, but I also don't want to lose my family. I am very family oriented and family to me is everything. I want to find a solution where I can keep both. And there is an update.
We still didn't get a reasoning.
We don't
Like,
know
where is
why.
the brother? Why are the
maybe
parents?
she doesn't know.
I mean,
yeah.
Maybe. But why are the parents just out of the blue like, we're taking your brother's side?
Yeah, especially when OP said he said the effing or thing loud enough for everyone
And
to
everyone
hear.
heard it. Not
Everyone
maybe not everyone
heard
heard it,
it.
but people heard it where it was just like,
Yeah.
okay,
It's
weird.
like you're not going to follow up on that at all?
I don't know where the parents are coming from. Like,
Yeah.
he kind of deserved it. Did he really hurt him? A little bit. Was it well deserved? Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut him up.
Yeah, I think if I were in this situation, I would be a little bit mad at if I were OP, I would be a little bit mad at the husband. I'd be like, hey, that's not how we do things. But I'd also be like, the brother is the problem too. He started this. He was running his mouth about me.
This all stemmed from the brother.
Yeah.
Again, he was warned, if you don't stop, I'm going to shut you up. And guess what? He shut him up.
And there is an update. My husband is my choice, and I have no intentions of leaving him at all. Never had. I know it's early for an update, but I'm more confused now about what's going on. My parents invited me over to have a talk with them, but they wanted me to come alone as they didn't want my husband at their house. My husband refused to let me go alone and said if he isn't going, then he won't allow me to. I don't like that.
No.
He basically said with you alone that they will just pile on you and that I won't let that happen. So we went together. My parents weren't happy to see him and my mother wanted to say something until my husband told her he isn't there for them, but me. And if he's forced to leave, I will leave with him. I agreed with them. Reluctantly, they agreed. My brother was there as well. He had a broken nose and a chipped tooth and refused to look at me or my husband.
You deserved it, man.
He just kept looking at the ground even while talking. Apparently, what happened with my brother is that he broke up with his girlfriend a month ago. It's more like she broke up with him. Don't know the reason, don't care. I wasn't aware of this as we aren't close like that. According to him, the reason he had to go at me this weekend is because of my life. Terrible reason. Terrible reasoning.
No. I don't buy it.
So
I
many
don't
people
buy
have
it.
gone through breakups and they don't start, saying
Calling
mean things,
mean
calling their
things.
siblings names.
Yeah.
According to him, my perfect life with my husband kept popping up on his feeds and he got jealous.
Sounds like an issue, brother.
Yeah, come on. Everything on my social media is with my husband. I don't really use it for anything else, but his feed was full of my posts and that set him off, as I had something that he didn't. It got worse when he overheard me and my mother talking when I had a discussion with her over children. Me and my husband are currently trying to have a baby, and that just made everything worse in his head. His life was falling apart, and mine was going perfectly. And I was trying to have what he wanted with his ex. He said he didn't take my husband seriously when he pulled him aside, and my husband warned him. I seriously don't know why he went after me, as nothing he said was true in any sense, and I did ask him why he said those things. He refused to answer me. I asked him why the or comment, because he knows my husband was my first in everything, and it has only been him all these years. He refused to answer. I asked him if trying to have a baby with my husband makes me an or, as it involves spicy sleep, and he just left the room.
Dude, imagine being so insecure
Yeah.
because you just got broken up with for maybe a good reason. It shows.
Seemingly a good reason if this is how you're acting.
And you're taking it on your sister because she's having
having
a
a
happy
baby.
life and she wants a baby.
Crazy.
You
Also,
are
regardless if she was married or not, it's totally out of line to say this comment. But also, She's married.
You're a sad little man. You are a sad little man, and wow, the fact that you're like, you can't say anything with a broken nose.
Yeah.
Again, broken nose was well deserved.
I asked my parents why they didn't step in and tell my brother to leave or stop. My dad said he wanted to, but my mother told him to leave my brother be, as he's actually not hurting anyone. He's not hurting you. That's ridiculous. He's not hurting you.
What if he called?
He was hurting OP.
Yeah. What if he called mom
Yeah.
names?
The same with the ultimatum. They wanted to protect my brother. I asked, what about me? And they were silent. That's so sad.
Mm-hmm.
All my father said was the ultimatum was my mother's idea and he went along with it. Yeah, it seems like you're a freaking coward, dude. He's like, oh, well, she told me not to talk to your brother, so I didn't.
The
Oh,
apple.
well, she wanted to have an ultimatum, so we did that.
The apple does not fall from the tree here, it seems like.
This is basically where we are at the moment. A lot more was said, but I don't think it matters. My husband did apologize to my parents for what happened, but refused to apologize to my brother. When my mother asked him to apologize to my brother, he outright said no. He won't apologize for standing up for me, and my brother got what he deserved. He was warned and didn't listen. My mother said it still doesn't excuse him for hitting my brother. My husband asked my dad what would he do if someone called his wife an whore. My father said I would have a talk with that person, but would never hit someone. My husband laughed and told my dad he was a weak-willed, spineless man if he allowed someone to demean his wife like that. I do think that this guy is spineless, but I would not want my partner to punch someone, even if they were saying things about me.
I think it was just like the spur of the moment.
Yeah.
And like I said, well deserved, but violence is never the answer.
Violence is never the answer. It's like, I guess I'm of the mind of if you're going to start talking crap, expect to get hit, but you should not hit someone.
Yeah.
You know?
That's two for flinching.
Yeah. That got my mom red in the face. I could see her get angry. That is when I told my husband it's time to leave. I told my parents that I will be going low contact with them, and the ultimatum they gave me broke the trust I had in them. I understand they wanted to protect my brother, but in doing that, they hurt me. This seemed to take all the anger out of my mother. They asked if I will be cutting them out completely, and I told them that's up to them. I don't want anything to do with my brother at the moment, as he can't even apologize for what he said to me. I told them if they can respect my wishes, we'll see. You would be respecting our wishes if you joined us live every weekday at 3 p.m. PST on YouTube. Just tap our profile. And there is a little bit left, but regardless of how I feel about, your husband's actions, I do think it's the right move to go low contact because your parents are just not at all supporting you or recognizing that you got hurt in this situation.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes actions speak louder than words, and sometimes words speak louder than actions. And obviously, this was all stemmed from the brother of just being jealous. Which is,
just being jealous and your parents letting him get away with that.
I don't understand why the parents are just like, it's okay. That's what siblings do.
Yeah. It's like,
No.
No. When we got up to leave, my husband went over to my parents and actually still greeted them politely, but told my dad it's time to grow a backbone. Damn. I don't know what I saw, but I think it was shame in my mother's face because my dad looked at my mother and she looked away from him. This is where we are at the moment. My husband on the way back home apologized for possibly escalating things, but told me it was time someone told my dad the truth. He said whatever punishment comes, he'll take and deal with any fallout. I don't need to worry or stress about anything. And that is the end of that story.
My little brother is sexist, so I stopped talking to him.
Boy, bye.
Good for you.
See you later.
So I, 18 female to male, have a brother, 15 male, who is always trying to be different and old school. People like my grandparents like to say, oh, he's an old soul, one of those. There's nothing wrong with that, but he has the tendency to be really misogynistic and sexist. By the way, this comes from deleted on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, for example, when I came out as trans to the family, I wasn't expecting a big thing. All I wanted was to be accepted. I didn't want a cake or party or anything like that, and I didn't get one. A simple, okay, if you need something, let me know, from my mom. And that was it.
That was it.
That's all you need. But my brother made a big deal out of it. This was 3 years ago, and every week he asks me, oh, you still a boy? Or are you like a helicopter?
Excuse me, sir?
Or what are you today, a fish or something? At first, I thought he was just being a brother and annoying me, but then I realized the tone under it was actually pretty nasty. Also, I am not exaggerating when I say every week. Now, I could be overthinking it, but it doesn't stop there. When I first got together with my boyfriend, 18 male, the first thing my brother said was, oh, does he know that you're not a real boy? He probably likes that. Every time I bring home a friend, I get a comment along the lines of, are they like gender bending or something? Or is that a real boy or girl? And he says it like it's a disgusting thing. And I could be looking too deep into it, but it's getting old. And when I try to talk to him about it, I get labeled as being too woke and too sensitive. It's not like it's giving me mental breakdowns, but it's annoying. What does hurt is the constant use of my dead name, not just in public situations, but home and literally everywhere. When I correct him, I get, I'm not calling you that. And he even said the classic, it's just a phase. Literally 2 days ago when I corrected him on my name, I got hit with, oh my God, another phase. Girl, no, it's been the same for 3 years. And it's not like I'm pushing it down his throat. I just want him to be respectful. I don't care if he likes it or not. I don't care if he trashes me behind my back, but I just want him to be nice to me to my face for once. Anyway, other than attempt to correct him every few months or so, I just leave it so I don't cause a massive scene. Plus, I'm 18, he's 15. I'm hoping that if I ignore it, he'll mature. I know he's still developing, etc. Up until last night, that worked. But I walked into the kitchen to make myself some dinner, a toasty, because who the heck has time to cook a whole dang meal at 10 p.m.? And my brother, literally out of nowhere, for real, no one asked, starts talking about wanting to be Amish. What? Wait, what?
Actually, you know what? Go ahead. Yeah. Go. So you see that like big old field over there where there's like no people for hundreds of miles? Yeah, go over there. Go ahead.
Opie says, it caught me off guard. That caught me off guard. I was not expecting that at all.
I wasn't ready either.
But I just nodded and told him that he would have to quit music and grow a beard and also wouldn't be allowed to see the family again because as far as my limited knowledge of the Amish goes, they have some pretty strict rules. Anyway, I guess I didn't give him the reaction that he wanted because he huffed and then started going on about how Trump is amazing.
Bro has such ADHD. He's so ADHD, his bigotry has ADHD. He can't even stay focused on one topic of hate, bro.
That's so true. Now, I'm Australian and I don't know that much about Trump because I'm just not educated enough, but I do know that he hasn't been great for women's rights. Okay, so they're brother and sister. If OP is Australian, that means that the brother is Australian. I didn't know that Australians cared. I didn't know that there were followers, I guess, and supporters of our politics in Australia.
It's like so big, I guess. And like he's such a maniac that like I could see. And he was like a celebrity or whatever.
So I was like, isn't he like really bad on women's rights? And he was like, sorta. I think that's good though.
Bro was like, yeah, I think it's great. I think it's amazing.
And I just blinked at him like, WTF. And he was like, don't even start. You're too woke. Women are always pushing for things they don't need. How do you have 5 sisters, a mother, and 2 nieces and talk like that? Good question, OP.
And you know what? He shouldn't even have to have all those amazing women in his life to not be a sexist idiot.
Right. Anyway, I was so done with him that I just shut my mouth and got my toasty and went to walk down to my room. And he got mad and said, oh my God, I just want to talk with my sister. You never talk to me anymore. I wonder why.
What a mystery.
What a mystery.
We can't solve this one, gang.
Anyway, I just turned around and told him to reflect on the conversation we had. And he hit me again with the, oh my God, you're so sensitive and you're too woke. So I just left and haven't talked to him since, but that was only last night. So am I the a-hole? Because I'm fully aware that I could be too woke or sensitive or whatever, and I know I can't force him to accept my gender identity, but it hurt that he blatantly called me his sister, but it's not like I scream at him for it or anything. So yeah, looking for opinions. Also, yes, my parents, my mother, have talked to him about it, but it's just not stopping. So yeah, there's a lot left, but what do we think? Is he the a-hole or not?
OP is not the a-hole at all. OP's freaking awesome. And again, like OP was like, hey, I don't want to like force people to, you don't gotta throw a parade for me. You gotta roll out. All he wants Oh, let's just be cool. Just accept me, accept my gender identity. That's all I'm asking for. It's pretty easy. It's pretty simple. And yet the brother, it's the classic case of like, of the people like, why you want to celebrate? Why are you always pushing on my face? And it's just like, I'm just existing.
Yeah, like I'm just chilling here.
I'm just chilling. You're the one that's going all crazy. So
yeah, it's like that one meme that if you've seen it, that's like, I'm just a chill guy that like wants my brother to use my like pronouns. You know what I mean? Have you seen that chill guy meme?
I haven't seen the chill guy meme.
Well, it's pretty funny. I'll show you later. Yeah, definitely not the a-hole. Because I kind of, listen, I don't want to be controversial.
Ooh.
But I understand the idea of being like too woke or something. And hear me out, because I don't know if that's like the right words to use, calling it too woke. But I do think that people on both sides just get a little aggressive. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like,
for
I
sure.
think the opinions are like totally valid and whatever. And I totally understand them and like standing up for what you believe in and everything. I just do think that some people are a little just like harsh with it.
Just be chill.
OP's just existing with his toasty, and that's like it. So we have a little edit. Okay, people, please stop attacking my parents. Well, attack my dad if you want. I don't care. He barely parents his kids, but my mother is an angel. She's doing her best, and that's all I can ask for. She has 9 kids, and she works. A lot of her kids are grown now, but my brother is a handful, obviously. He's done other things that are more important than his behavior towards me. I think he may be going through a rebellious phase, which is lost on me because I never actually had one. But my mother is exhausted, and I don't blame her. My brother has been getting himself into trouble for the past couple months and has been acting like a total brat. He's got classic youngest child syndrome, and it's worse that he's the only blood boy. My father practically praises his bad behavior or waves it off as boys will be boys, which completely undoes any boundaries my mother sets down for my brother. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing that can spark a whole nother conversation about that.
Guess what? This boy say you can't. That's right. I'm putting you in your place. Freaking stupid brother.
Also, yes, I hear some of you. Move out. Well, even though I have a job, I'm still going through uni and paying it off as well as my car. I'm not in the financial situation right now to just move out. But I will soon, and I'm saving money to get my own place with my boyfriend. By the way, you always have a safe space with us when you join us live on YouTube and Facebook every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile. As for the trolls who think that they're so funny talking smack in the comments, it's not working. I just want you to know that all it does is make me laugh, and then I get to give a response. One person called me a F word. Joke's on you, that turns me on.
OP's freaking awesome. I freaking love OP, dude.
Just flip it on him. So, yeah, if you don't like that, I don't have a wang and still give off bigger wiener energy than you, feel free to just scroll past.
Get on out of here, boy.
I'm sure that hand is better for more than just wanking off and touching kids, which is the vibes that transphobes give off. That's crazy. Get 'em, OP. Anyway, live, laugh, love, or whatever. I don't know how to end this. And there we go. That's the ending. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, conclusion is, I guess just like, move out as soon as you reasonably can. Like, don't rush and become homeless, but, just like get out there and then, man, cut off the brother.
Yeah.
I managed to outsmart my brother's fiance. Now her wedding schemes backfired on her. I'm currently in medical school and live across the country from my brother and family. I was surprised when his fiance asked me to be a bridesmaid because I barely know her, but she wants to have all siblings in the wedding. By the way, this comes from Educational Leg 1046, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, I made it clear that their wedding was during my final exam week, and while I was able to get an accommodation to take my last 2 exams early, I still wouldn't be able to help much with planning or being present at things like a bachelorette party or bridal shower. She said this was fine. It would mostly just be to have an even number of bridesmaids to groomsmen and for pictures. There is a group chat that was created months ago that I would read through every couple of days to get updates on things I needed to do, namely to order a bridesmaid dress. Links were sent with 3 styles to choose from, and we would be updated on colors later. So a couple weeks go by, and I ask what color to order. Bride says she's still thinking about it. Couple more weeks go by and she's still thinking about it. Then a couple more weeks. You get the idea. Now it's at the point that if I don't order this dress in a couple of days, it won't be here in time. So I ask on Saturday, what color? No response in the group chat to me. I asked again yesterday, Sunday, what color do I need to order? Then I'm flooded with messages lambasting me for not ordering a dress yet from her sisters and my sister and her. My sister called me, told me to get my crap together and order a dress already because my lack of preparedness is causing the bride intense anxiety because she doesn't think my dress will be here on time for the wedding. She texted me this morning, don't forget to order your dress. Love you, with smiling and kissing emojis. Still, no one had told me what color. I've scoured the group chat for a mention of dress colors or an image of a dress, but only the maid of honor sent a photo of her dress, and I don't know if she has a special color. There's thousands of messages, so it's not simple to find anything. Everyone else can meet in person, so I assume the decision on color was relayed in person. I can't tell if I'm being purposely excluded. About an hour ago, my brother called me, pleading with me to work things out with the bride because she's panicking about me. I tried to explain this to him, and he told me he doesn't care. It's a petty ladies issue. And since I'm not there for anything else, this is the least I can do because the bride thinks I don't like her because I wouldn't come to anything. He's taking her side. They know I'm in medical school. I have literally no say in my schedule, and I'm on the other side of the country, 5.5 hours by plane, and you freaking told them that you wouldn't be able to be a part of anything.
Exactly.
I'm fed up with them and contemplating telling my instructors the wedding was moved and I will take my exams at the regular time. I'd have more time to study that way anyway. I haven't told anyone in my family I'm considering this. Would I be the a-hole? I called my mother and asked her what the color for the bridesmaid dresses are. She said lavender.
Cool. Easy.
Okay. The only color option on the website that I would call lavender are named pearly lilac, periwinkle, and orchid purple. I text the maid of honor, bride's sister, to ask what dress color, and got a multi-paragraph long lecture about not having ordered my dress yet.
Ah! Oh my gosh.
Basically, they're trying so hard to accommodate me being across the country by including me in the group chat. She said she didn't remember the shade name, but it's a dusty purple, then sent a blurry picture of a wrinkled order confirmation. The shade name was mulberry. On the dress website, that is a darker wine purple color. I told her this, and she said to order the lighter dusty purple color. I sent her a screenshot with a list of shade names and asked, which of these? She said she didn't know because everyone ordered their dresses so long ago and asked for pictures of the dresses in different shades from the website. So I sent screenshots of all the light purple colors. No response for a while, so I called her on the phone, which she was upset about because it's past 10 p.m. over there now. Her response was, look, I don't care what your problem is with me and my sister, but if you want to stay in good standing with this family, you need to get your ducks lined up, girly. I ignored the lecture and comments and asked what color.
There you go.
There we go.
There you go. That's literally all she wants.
Me, of the 3 I sent, which one is it? Her. I don't remember. I'll have to ask one of the other bridesmaids for her receipt. I'll get back to you. I want to bash my head in the wall. I called my second brother, the one not getting married. He said they're pulling similar things with him, and he feels like he was deliberately given the wrong dates for the bachelor party by the best man, bride's brother, so that he would miss it.
Whoa.
He inadvertently learned about the change date the morning of, and when he asked the best man, he told him it must have slipped his mind to tell him. Then joked that he wouldn't have missed much since he probably wouldn't enjoy any of the festivities anyway. They've been making closet guard jokes and comments to him that he's been ignoring, but he thinks they're trying to get him to back out of the wedding. So if we both back out, then there will be an even number of bridesmaids to groomsmen again. Only speculation on our parts, of course. Quick update. I was seriously considering pulling out, but the collective rage here and my fading motivation to study has me thinking, by this point, with how this post took off, I wouldn't be surprised if they find it at some point, so I don't want to reveal my cards just yet. Thank you to the comments that gave me the idea. I guess I'll be making an update mid-June if all goes to plan. And there are some comments and an update. What do you think OP's going to do?
I think OP's just going to buy one of the dresses.
Yeah.
It's going to show up. Then the bride is going to be mad because it's not the right color.
Yeah.
And she's going to be like, I freaking tried.
I tried, man.
And
I
she's going to
freaking
confront her
tried.
at the wedding.
Yeah.
It'd be a whole thing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm guessing.
Okay, well, let's find out.
Let's find out.
Well, first there's some comments. Comment 1, not the a-hole, but I have a question. Were you and your brothers close at all? Because with what she's doing to you and your other brother, it almost sounds like she's trying to push you two away from the groom. Like it seems like she's purposely trying to make you and your brother look like clowns who couldn't be bothered to care or something. I am almost getting vibes that she is trying to slowly cut his family out of the groom's life. This is setting off so many red flags in my head. Maybe you should have a talk with your mom to see if there's been any other signs of her either isolating the groom or other signs of possible abuse. I'm not trying to jump to conclusions. She might just be a witch, but the flags are a-flying. OP says, I was never close with my older brother, the one getting married. Younger brother and I were outcast, nerdy kids, and we're always close. I don't think the bride is trying to isolate my older brother. She's actually quite enamored with my mom and sister. She's always posting on Instagram about getting mani-pedis with my mom or going out for a mom and daughter lunch and coffee, usually with some kind of sweet caption about how she can feel her mom in heaven acting through my mom or something.
Whoa.
And she considers my sister her twin like they were separated at birth. She likes half of us, it seems. And there is another update.
Wow.
Yeah, it seems like she just doesn't like you guys,
Yeah.
I would say, which sucks.
Right.
But yeah, that does seem to be the case. And
so silly.
seems like you have a plan, but my other advice is just to drop out of the bridal party.
At this point,
Yeah, I'd be
it's
like-
just,
I'd be like, you guys are, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm done.
I'm
And then you text your
done.
brother and say, hey, this is not petty bridal women stuff.
Yeah,
I am being mistreated and I'm not going to be a part of your bridal party.
exactly.
Update 2. Thanks to some responses, I called the bridal salon and asked what colors were ordered.
Smart, but like, what a headache to have to go through.
Literally, all of that
Oh my
when they could have
gosh.
just told them.
Yeah.
4 dresses in the color Flint, 1 in mulberry. The maid of honor was setting me up to believe mulberry was the color of all the dresses. OP was so freaking right.
Oh my gosh.
They had a different dress for
They
the
had a s-
maid of honor.
Yeah.
So I ordered 1 in mulberry and 1 in Flint. I only let the maid of honor know I purchased a mulberry dress. I caught a red eye to be there for the rehearsal. They had a room to get ready in the morning and wanted all the dresses stored there. I show up with the mulberry dress. The bride begins crying because it's too late to fix it. She asks if I would be upset if I asked to drop out because mulberry is for the maid of honor. I pretended like I had made such a big mistake. I said, I know a girl that works at the salon. Let me call her and see if there's any way to make it right. And if it not, I'll step down because I want you to have the perfect day. I show back up the next morning to start getting ready with the correct dress in tow. My friend looked at the back for me and they just had this return yesterday. What are the odds? Exact style, color, and my size. It's a sign. Silence. Then an awkward, that's amazing. Now, I'll be honest, I thought the revenge would be that they had to have me and my younger brother in the wedding and photos. I couldn't have planned the next part.
I'm so excited right now. Wow.
They had to explain to the makeup artist that there was an additional bridesmaid, meaning they planned from the beginning that I wouldn't be in the wedding.
Wow. So they're not just like being really annoying and not communicating. They like actually
hate you.
don't want her in it.
They actually
And
freaking hate you.
this was a whole plan.
The ceremony went fine. We took photos after. Then there was no place settings for me and little bro with the wedding party at the reception since they banked on 1 less bridesmaid and 1 less groomsman being present. The table was almost not long enough. 2 chairs had to be thrown on the end. We didn't get food initially because we were actually in the seating plan at other tables, so our plates were brought to those place settings. I can tell my brother, groom, seemed ticked off at the staff for seemingly not having things set up properly. But the bride and best man diverted his attention. Dude, wake up.
Oh my god.
Wake up.
Oh my god.
It's not the servers, it's your freaking wife
Yes.
now.
This is too many to believe that it's a coincidence.
Before he, the groom, left, he found me and said he asked the maid of honor why the settings were wrong, and he was told I asked to be dropped from the wedding party weeks ago, then showed up and demanded to be in the wedding. OP's got freaking proof, man.
Dude, for real.
She's got freaking proof.
She's got receipts.
I said I didn't ask to be dropped and showed him my phone where she gave me a thumbs up on the dress. He noticed the screenshot was not the dress I was currently wearing, so I said I had to last minute switch it out after confusion on the color. He seemed satisfied with that. They left on their honeymoon and my brother returned several days early alone. So you can guess how that went. And there is a final update, but oh my
gosh.
god.
This is so much messier than I thought.
Ooh.
Wow.
Dude, maybe if you had listened to the petty lady problems, you wouldn't have had to marry and then divorce your wife immediately.
Yeah. Wow.
Jesus.
This is so satisfying.
So incredibly
So
satisfying. You're
satisfying.
so incredibly stupid, my dude.
Wow.
Sorry, y'all, for such a lapse in time. I've been so busy with things for school this summer. Then classes started up again, and on top of that, the events kept unfolding. So it didn't seem like there was a good time for an update that wouldn't be massively lacking in some kind of a conclusion. That said, here's what I intend as the final update. Up first, my little brother's perspective on the wedding. He said that our older brother, the groom, had approached him early on and asked if it was okay if his friend was the best man. Little brother said he wasn't bothered by that. However, our brother's friends have never been very nice to my little brother, so he was prepared for more of the same kind of circus. Mostly teasing, name-calling, anti-gay language used casually like it's 2005 and we call lame things attracted to the same gender and have to preference everything with no homo. One of the things they started to do was call my little brother the feminine version of his name. Oh my god, your brother sucks. Your older brother freaking sucks.
Yeah.
Now, he did tell me some information that makes it more clear why a certain someone might have wanted him out of the wedding party. Basically, at some point, very strong but unreciprocated feelings were expressed to my little brother. Seeing how popular the story has become, it would be potentially identifying to give more details in case anyone involved found this. Even if someone is an a-hole, I'm not going to accidentally out them in a very public way. Okay, so someone in the groom's party was maybe interested in Opie's little brother. And then like try to get back at him. Beyond that, he said he was getting the cold shoulder in general and felt squeezed out from our own family. Apparently, at a family dinner with our parents, Mom said that the bride and maid of honor, bride's sister, were like the second and third daughters she never had. Our dad asked if she meant third and fourth daughters. So my own mother forgot she birthed me, I guess. Or she's terrible at addition. Not sure which is worse. Back to the wedding. The groomsmen/groom were set to go play golf in the morning before the ceremony. After the rehearsal night, when I had the wrong color dress and was dropping out, quote unquote, the best man called my little brother stating I had dropped out, and since he was set to walk with me, then he didn't need to show up to golf. But the next morning, they called him asking where he was and said I had made a scene to be back in the wedding, so he was back in too. On the golf course, our older brother was annoyed with him and said he should have come anyway, even if I was being dramatic again. Little brother didn't mention that the best man explicitly told him over the phone not to show up. So that's what was going on with the groomsmen that morning. Now for the real update.
Oh boy.
Juicy. Our brother came home a few days early from the honeymoon and was staying in a hotel. It was hard even for family members he's close with to get in touch with him for a couple days. The public story, thanks to my sister doing damage control, became that he had gotten ill and came home early but told his wife to stay and enjoy the trip, and that their apartment plumbing is being renovated, hence the hotel. Again, this has gotten so public that I feel eventually someone I know may see it, if not already, and share it with someone involved. I don't want to divulge too many personal details, so I'll try to stick with what is mostly public information. After arriving home a few days after my brother, his wife stayed with her parents' home for about a week. It seems that some kind of collaborative effort on part of my mom and sister, and presumably her brother, got him to talk to her, and then they were back together. A week or so after coming home, they moved back into their apparently newly renovated apartment. Everyone ignored or forgot the fact that they didn't speak for a week. Then it's been all smiles and perfect pictures on Instagram, lots of sappy 1 month anniversary, 2 month anniversary, etc. type of posts. So at that point, I didn't have much to update on. Kind of boring to say, don't know what happened on the honeymoon, they're back together like nothing happened now. A couple days ago, there was a pregnancy announcement on her social media.
On social media, that's how you find out?
Something to note is my older brother has never wanted children, and especially not children genetically related to him.
Oof.
He is a childhood cancer survivor, and he's always said he couldn't stand it if it was genetic. He's very serious about this, as in he was considering a vasectomy.
Wow.
I recently spoke with my sister on the phone and mentioned how this was very strange to me that they're announcing a pregnancy. She said, and this is a quote, "Well, there's nothing for getting a pill here and there. Can't fix if you want to get your way, you know?"
Wow.
My response was that's basically spicy related abuse, and she scoffed at me for saying it's anything similar. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Wow. Dude, let's just hope that it's not genetic and that
Yeah.
doesn't happen.
Like, oh my
It's definitely a manipulative relationship. 100%.
She's horrible. She's horrible.
100%.
But you know what's not horrible? Listening to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search up OK Storytime. I still don't know exactly what happened on the honeymoon. I'm regretting not telling my older brother more at this point, but I'm also not sure that petty ladies drama over a dress color would have gotten him to leave her. Clearly, he put up with a lot of drama from her anyway. I am internalizing the guilt though, so I'm sorry this isn't a particularly satisfying update. And there are some final comments to finish off. Comment 1, your mom, sister, bride, and bride's brother friends are all such a-holes. She's essentially baby-trapped him after he explicitly said he doesn't want kids because of the possibility that they could go through cancer, which is true in some ways. People with a family history of cancer tend to get tested at an early age to make sure that they don't also have it. It also sounds like majority of your family are anti toward your brother. Coming from a bi person, even if they themselves don't make these comments, the fact that they don't stick up for him when others do makes them just as bad, if not worse. They are his family. They're your family. They're supposed to be some of your biggest advocates. Whenever it comes to family, if one of their friends says something out of pocket, it is their responsibility to correct it. They should be the person in between you and the friend acting as a buffer. I honestly wonder how your brother has stayed with that woman for so long. Does he feel like he can't get out because mom and sister love her so much? Has he been worn down to the point where he can't leave? Is he a prick who decides that the things she does to wrong his family aren't that bad, so he stays? At the wedding, it sounded like he was upset that the staff forgot about you and your brother, so it looks like he cares somewhat. But his behavior is so strange. How has he not picked up on this strange behavior? OP, I am truly sorry that this has been going on in your family. Your best bet is to take your younger brother and run, even though I know it's not going to be easy or possible right now. You two sound like you're going to be each other's support system throughout this, like you have been to this point. Has your dad expressed any kind of input at all on this, other than when he had to remind your mother of your existence? Which I can somewhat understand. I mean, my mom will call me by my sister's name when trying to get my attention. But given the context of what yours is like, I feel like there's more than just forgetfulness. I hope everything turns out all right, especially because there's now a pregnancy involved. If it comes down to it, you might just need to air out every single thing that has happened. Maybe your brother can make better decisions once he's hit with a brick of information. All of the lying, all of the gaslighting, the ganging up on the two of you, the huge elaborate plan to punt both of you out without actually saying it. And all because they're anti-gay and she wanted the aesthetic even pictures. The text sent by her friend admitting to making sure his wife got pregnant after they agreed not to for some very valid reasons. That betrayal of trust cuts so deep, I don't know how he could stay if he knew. If that fails, it honestly might need to be turned into a low/no contact situation to save you and your younger brother your sanity and well-being. Let them live with their effed up choices and drama-filled life once everyone knows all the details, especially your brother. And that is the end of that story.
Wow. My brother wrongly accused our parents of being controlling, so I confronted him.
Maybe they were only controlling with him.
Your favorite child alert. Uh-oh. My brother-in-law, 25 male, and sister-in-law, 24 female, are currently expecting a baby due any day now. Congratulations. They have started giving my parents the silent treatment, and I have no idea what to do, especially because I live in a different state from all of them. Sorry, it is a long story. By the way, this comes from Snowden29, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit.
Do it.
There has been constant tension from my brother and sister-in-law towards myself and my parents throughout their entire married life. This all started due to a conflict that occurred when I was in college before they got married. To give some context, my brother proposed to his girlfriend from high school, now wife, when he was 21. She had been planning her wedding on Pinterest for years, like many of us do, but had no desire to have a large bachelorette party, especially because she was not even a big drinker. Sister-in-law decided to have her bachelorette at Halloween Horror Nights, inviting her friends from her high school, her cousin, and her sister-in-law. I was also invited, and with my college nearby, I said I would be able to go even though I had a busy class schedule. She sent me a time and purchased a ticket. I purchased a ticket. A few weeks later, I went to the amusement park an hour early before the time that she told me to be there, so I would not be late. I sat at the Starbucks and just people watched until it was around 5 o'clock, the meeting time. I had not received a text and decided to reach out to check the status on their arrival. My soon-to-be sister-in-law was planning to carpool with everyone from our hometown and drive 1 hour to the park, so I assumed that they were late for traffic reasons. I waited for a reply and still nothing, waiting for another 30 minutes. I texted again and finally received a reply. She said that they were on their way to the park. Apparently, my sister-in-law decided to book her hairstyle practice for her wedding the same day as Halloween Horror Nights in the afternoon, so her hair would be done for her bachelorette, and that's why she said she was running late. I decided to grab some food as the event would not be open until 6 o'clock and sat waiting. About an hour later, I waited, expecting them to have reached the hotel, and texted my sister-in-law yet again for an update. She said that they arrived but were hungry. They ordered pizza to the hotel. Again, I waited 30 minutes, so it was close to 8 o'clock at this point. I had not heard any updates, so I decided to head into the park to experience some of the scare zones, but did not enter any houses because the express pass only worked once for each house. I sat alone in the park, and still not having heard from my sister-in-law, I texted my brother if he knew where she was and told my parents about the situation. Big mistake. My dad called my brother in a frenzy asking him how his future wife could lack empathy and not communicate where she was. He was pissed that I was left in the park by myself during a huge event like Halloween Horror Nights where something could happen, even though I was a college student at the time. My brother called me soon after and apologized, asking me where I was and to go have fun by myself. During this time, my brother was also Snapchatting my sister-in-law, asking her where she was. My brother said that she was on her way, and that was that. I sat on the curb, and they all finally showed up a little after 9 o'clock.
Dang, and they said 6.
Yeah.
Oh, and
That's
Opie's, I
crazy.
mean, Opie chose to be there at 5, but like still
Right.
has been there
Right.
since 5.
Yeah, I mean, like, you can't complain for being there for, like, for,
an hour. If they were like, if they got there
Yeah.
for 6, you could be like, I've been here for an hour.
Yeah, but the several hours, like, after the meeting time, you could definitely complain
I'd be
about
like,
that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
4 hours after they were supposed to be there. My sister-in-law looked unbothered, and they all brushed it off like nothing happened. Actually, no, they said 5, so it was 4 hours. So she, I think, was there at 4 then, and then they pushed it back to 6 because of the hair thing, and then so it's just like it's just.
Oh,
more
no.
and more,
I think Opie
right?
did get there at 5, but I
At
think you're
5?
right that like
Okay.
originally the time was
Yeah.
5, and then they pushed
Either
it.
way,
Just
multiple
a lot of
hours have
bad-
gone
yeah.
by.
Bad communication.
So bad.
regardless of what the time was.
Yeah. My sister-in-law looked unbothered, and they all brushed it off like nothing happened.
That's
Nudging me to follow them to our first house. Throughout the evening, it was fine. I made small talk with her friends, but did not have too much in common with them. I was nice and did not bring up the rude delay. At the end of the night, I decided to leave early because I still had class the next morning and bid them a goodbye. They seemed kind of relieved I was leaving, but I decided to brush it off. Dang, that's rough, man.
That's rude.
Fast forward, my sister-in-law was not forgiving of that night. My brother apparently was told off by my dad and said that his wife should have been more responsible in caring for other people's time. He said that he did not appreciate her leaving his daughter alone and not communicating with her. He said something along the lines of, "You should think twice about marrying someone like that." My father said that in the heat of the moment when he was very angry at my sister-in-law. My dad stood up for me when I could not, and he came from a loving place for my sake. Apparently, my brother told everything to my future sister-in-law, especially that part in quotes.
Dude.
Yikes.
Dude. We probably could have kept a few things.
Yeah, you don't need to be that
Yeah.
honest.
You don't have to be like a freaking court reporter.
Yeah, exactly.
You can paraphrase.
She was pissed at me and, moreover, my father. My mom went out to lunch with them to mitigate the situation, and sister-in-law said that it was not her fault. She communicated clearly and that I should apologize. Ooh. I decided to let it go. I knew it was not my fault she was late and left me, deciding to be the bigger person. I did, in fact, apologize to her, but said that I did not feel like I was in the wrong. I only contacted my brother and my parents because I was worried about what to do in the situation. I did not come from a malicious place to ruin her bachelorette like she said I did.
No, you literally didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, not at all. Then this mess led to the first ever harsh treatment from her and also my brother. According to her, it was my fault and my parents for messing up her bachelorette and causing drama. The wedding came and we were left out of details and were not told much, even though my parents were paying for the majority of it. Whoa. Wow.
wondering if they were left out, like if OP was originally going to be like a bridesmaid or something and then was left out. Like, I don't know.
That would be a crazy thing to.
Yeah.
Or if they're just like, hey, like we decided on these flowers and they're like the most expensive flowers or something like that. Sister-in-law told her entire family about what my father said and turned his words against us all, making us seem like we hated her and wanted to break off their engagement. The wedding rehearsal came and it was awkward silence. Her family clearly was angry at us, thinking of this predisposition they had in their mind. We had already met them before, but to have this switch was scary and uncomfortable. Getting to the wedding, her family was put first throughout the process, and everyone from her family made a speech, while myself and my parents were never asked. My parents and I kept in the background with our side of the family. I never even got to dance with my brother or really talk to him, which I guess happens at weddings. My parents ended up paying for my brother and my sister-in-law's entire honeymoon to an all-inclusive resort as a wedding gift. They had a great time, but never really told us much about it. They then went on to get an apartment and a dog. My brother left me and my mom to clean out his entire childhood room, bringing all his stuff to his new apartment. We boxed everything and helped him out because we wanted to, but when we got to his apartment, he asked, "Why did you bring all of this?" We looked at each other, confused. We spent hours packing this up. Sister-in-law walked in and started going through the stuff, making piles for us to take back.
No, come on.
Oh my goodness.
Come on.
This
You
is
just
crazy.
asked.
Yeah.
You just asked.
Yeah, that's wild. My poor mom relented and started taking stuff back to the car. After this event and move, my parents and I did not hear much from my brother. We decided to give him space to figure out this new process in his life. Leaving out other small events that happened in between, it was my turn to graduate college. This even started the first silent treatment phase. How, you may ask? I only got 5 tickets for my graduation, and clearly I was giving 2 to my parents who supported me, 1 to my grandma, 1 to my brother, and the last ticket I figured I would give to my sister-in-law. However, with not hearing from them much, I assumed that she would not want to go, and she was not a big contributor to this milestone. My best friend, however, was studying with me and cheering me on 24/7. But I decided to give it to my sister-in-law because my brother was invited. I came home from college one weekend, and they were over for dinner at my parents' house. As the sister-in-law was leaving, I whispered to my mom if it would be the right time to invite her to my graduation. My mom said clearly, "Do what you want, sweetie. It's your decision." I then proceeded to ask my sister-in-law if she and my brother would like to attend. She gave me a weird look and asked the date in a weird tone. I told her, and she said, "I probably can," rushing out with my brother right behind her.
She's gonna show up at like 9 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, sorry, I was getting my hair done.
Right. It's like everyone's gone. We're graduated, man. That's
I already walked.
Yeah.
Like at 12.
Right. Coming back to this later, a few months after, my parents and I, in little to no contact with my brother, learned that they had moved back into my sister-in-law's parents' house. This was shocking because they had been living there for months and did not tell us. My brother said words that he would never use towards my parents. "We thought you would judge us." My parents were in fact not judgmental and understood about saving money, but were more appalled by the thought that my brother was not living where he said he was. My graduation announcement was sent to their apartment, and when it was sent back, they lied, telling me that their mail system still had a few things they needed to sort out. It was a crazy shock. Nonetheless, I graduated and was prepping to move to a different state for graduate school when they messaged my mom randomly saying that they needed to talk. I remember this being a random evening this past summer when they sat us down and started accusing each person of wrongdoing. First was my father. They brought up the Halloween Horror Nights event that occurred, saying that he hated my sister-in-law and would never welcome her into the family, which was a complete lie. My father said that out of defense for me and was angry in the spur of the moment. Also, they accused him of being too judgmental about their living situation, which he never spoke a peep about. Then they started to accuse my poor mother of encouraging the fact that I would not invite my sister-in-law to my graduation. That is when I started getting pissed. I was inviting her, and she took it out of context. Sister-in-law started ranting about my mom and how she was in the wrong. Then they both looked at me. She mentioned the graduation invite, saying, even if I did not want to go, my family still goes, bringing it back to why her family was better. What? Even if I did not want to go, my family still goes.
That doesn't make sense.
She's saying that like her family would go to OP's graduation?
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
That doesn't make any sense. But it is not a contest. I digress. Sister-in-law then started getting angry at my constant messaging for my brother to hang out by himself with me. My brother joined in, saying that they are a pair now and need to be invited together. I don't like any of this. There's
Also,
just
they
so much more
were
about it.
invited to the graduation. I'm confused.
I think this is now, like, they're both invited
Oh, the
to
graduation happened. What?
Yeah, this is now about just hanging out in general. Just hang out just with the brother. This is so silly. This is so silly.
That's also ridiculous.
I can see all the manipulation behind it, of all the isolation.
He's being
which is
twisted.
a big no.
Yeah, no. She's trying to twist it because he seems like he was like super. When OP first called him, he was like super apologetic and was like, "Oh my god, I'll just have fun.
Yeah,
I'll
that's a great
find
point.
out." And then after that, there was this huge switch,
Right.
and I feel like she got her hooks in him.
Yeah, she got offended and then she was like, "Oh no, they're all against me." And now she needs some sort of validation or something like that by convincing him that they're all against both of them.
Yeah.
And it's like, no.
No.
That's so hard to see. That isolation, man. That's rough. I said that is fine, but I also want to do things with just you. Sister-in-law did not take that well, which was not a good sign. They left more talkative and nicer to us after they simply pointed fingers at us. The next part of the story is where it got crazy. I hate getting sentences like that.
I don't want it to get crazier. I want it to be like, in the next part of the story, my brother apologized and we figured it out.
Everyone held hands in the sunset together.
And said kumbaya together.
Oh my gosh. Sister-in-law and my brother came back for a family dinner right after that weird meeting, the first in a while. I am about to move, and they brought over a bag for Father's Day. They also brought a gift for my mom, which I thought was a belated Mother's Day gift, because they didn't get it or anything. Inside, they announced that they were having a baby.
I knew it.
I knew it.
I knew it was coming.
It.
I freaking knew it was coming.
Oh man, let us know in the chat if you also knew it.
Did you know it? Because we knew it.
I'm in pain right now.
Yeah.
This is hard. We had no clue what to say. We were happy, but just shocked. After hugging them and giving our congratulations, I went to my room. They clearly did not talk with us for months because they were angry, but decided to confront and make up with us because they were having a baby. We did not even know that they were mad in the first place. We had just gotten used to no contact because sister-in-law is controlling of every little thing my brother does. Flash forward, everything is fine, I guess, in terms of the normal dynamic. It is the fall and the baby shower is coming up. I was nervous because I had to tell them that I would not be able to make it because of my classes. Fortunately, it did not seem to matter, but that sounds kind of sad. My parents had a wedding that they already planned to attend, but drove down the next day so that they would be able to attend their first grandchild's baby shower. They were very excited. Sister-in-law rented out a wedding venue, discount through connections, but still expensive. My parents, yet again, out of the kindness of their hearts, gave them money for the baby shower. My mom asked if she could invite people, and sister-in-law gave her a limit. My mom invited 30-ish people, minus me, and sister-in-law invited over 75. This is a giant baby shower. Oh my goodness.
Yowza.
And this
75?
Yeah, they got a wedding venue for a baby shower.
That's kind of insane.
And they're gonna have 100 people there.
And did they say who's paying for it?
I think
probably
they're paying for it, but the parents, OP's parents, are like giving them some money.
Of course, that's what I thought.
Yeah, in exchange for being able to invite some people. My parents attended and they said that they were glad I did not come because I would have been banished to the background just like the wedding. They hung out with the few people that did come from their invites, but again, this was not enough for sister-in-law and my brother. Apparently, during their opening of presents, my brother was not able to get their attention. At the same time, did not try too hard. He got mad that they were not present for the opening of their gift. My parents were stuck all the way in the freaking back, for Christ's sake. What do you expect? Like, grandparents should be in the front.
Absolutely.
And
but there's too many people at this party.
Yeah, but it's like that's people that you would find and be like, okay, you got to come here. I want you here. For this
like,
moment.
Hey.
Instead of
you don't just be like, hey, someone seen my mom?
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know. And you're like, okay, well, that's it.
They're
that's
like,
as hard as I'm trying.
At the very end of the room, and you're like, hey, mom. She didn't
hear me.
All right,
She's
keep
ignoring
going.
me.
Keep going. Yeah. Anyways, after the baby shower, my mom called and asked if they got the extra money she put in the card. My brother validated that he got the check, but then proceeded to ask my mom if she would be willing to purchase a $500 car seat on top of what my parents did. I'll let that sink in. Bro, Just go to Target. Why do you need this premier car seat and Lululemon diaper bag? What? Lululemon diaper bag? I think it is still
They
sister-in-law.
sell diaper bags?
I had no idea, dude.
I'm looking this up while you read.
Yeah, please do. I think it is sister-in-law asking you to ask mom for sure. Now, almost caught up to the story in the title. Oh my God. I just
pretty
wanted
nice.
to end. What'd you say?
It's actually pretty nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know if
But
you can see it.
Lululemon, you don't even need Lululemon leggings. Those are still overpriced in
Yeah.
my opinion.
A
But
diaper bag, I feel
A
like you
diaper
could
bag?
get a cheaper one that still does the
you
job.
kind of just need like any backpack, I think. I mean,
Just
I've
stuff
never
it in a
needed one,
backpack.
but like
Yeah.
it looks like a backpack with some extra pockets. That's
Yeah.
what it seems.
I guess it's just organizationally it's easier maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I'm sure there are
I'm
alternatives.
sure there are other options than a Lululemon bag.
My parents received a call around Thanksgiving when they were visiting me, asking if sister-in-law and my brother could stay at their house for the weekend. My parents, being the kind of people that they are, said, sure, we are not there anyways. Apparently, my sister-in-law's dog bit her brother's newborn, and this caused her to have a big fight with her parents. Whoa. My sister-in-law's dog bit her brother's newborn. Wow.
Whoa. Oh my God.
That's wild. A newborn getting bit
By a dog. Oh my God. That's
That's
terrifying.
Yikes.
You have to be so, I mean, oh my God.
Yeah.
How do you not know that your dog is,
Yeah.
you know, like bites people?
Yeah. Or just even any dog being around a newborn, it's like you're on watch.
Yeah,
You
you
are-
have to be so careful. Like honestly,
Yeah.
also the parents should have been like, don't like keep this dog away,
Yeah.
regardless of how
Absolutely.
friendly the dog is.
Absolutely. And I mean, we might find out a little bit more about that situation, but I'm guessing that whatever it was, the sister-in-law was just like, no, like it's not that bad.
so
Like, it's not
friendly.
my
Aw.
bad.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it's your dog, girl. Sorry. They packed up their stuff and moved into my parents' house, staying with them till Christmas. During this time, my mom did the dishes, helped watch their dog, and a bunch of other chores on top of working. My mom would ask simple favors, like to go help her pick up her car from the shop, but sister-in-law had a scheduled lunch that she has every week with her brother and her own sister-in-law. Sister-in-law would still visit her own family, who she was angry with during the day, when my parents and brother were at work. Talking to my brother, my dad agreed to help him pay for a down payment for a home, and readily my brother agreed. Oh boy. The day I come home for Christmas, my brother and sister-in-law were signing for a house and moved out the very day I arrived. Do you really think that we heard from them after Christmas? Not really.
Mm-mm.
Even though my parents decided to help with the house and try to bridge this disconnect, they were back to square one. I had already given up on my relationship with my brother, but for them, I wanted it to get better. They now have a house and the baby is due soon this month. However, a new silent treatment has begun. My parents have now been accused of being too controlling and have given my brother anxiety when it comes to judging him. My brother is now in therapy, but all he discusses is how my father expects more from him and how his father hates his wife. Yikes. Yikes.
Yoy.
Who knows what he says about my mom and I. I called him this week after hearing that he was not talking to my parents. I tried to hear his side, but he was accusing them of things that they have never said and never even would. He even brought up the Halloween Horror Nights again and how my father was horrible to my sister-in-law, saying that they still dwell on it. It seems that he has lost sight of who our parents are and that sister-in-law is feeding him lies. I feel the person I am talking to is not even him. Oh, this is getting sad now.
Yeah, they have like a good relationship, I feel like.
Yeah.
Before this.
Yeah, man. I confronted him, angry that he would say such things after our parents gave us a loving home and have done so much for us despite their own hardships in life. It is like he forgets that my parents are loving and kind people who would give up their lives for us.
And also like paid for his wedding.
Yeah.
Like they contributed a lot.
Yeah, and this thing is like the Halloween Horror Nights thing has got to be at least like 2 years past.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Like this thing, oh my gosh. But you know what's not ridiculous is the fact that we got full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, your favorite podcast app, and search OK Storytime. We have given up our lives for you, and I think that's the one time we'll make that exception. We've got days and days, even weeks, over a month of content for you.
It's true.
More than you could
48
ever
days.
need. Yeah. So go check it out. But there is a little bit more to the story. Do you have any final thoughts before we move on?
I'm really hoping that eventually the brother comes around and realizes that he's in this kind of toxic relationship that is pulling him away from his familial relationships and other relationships as well.
Yep.
But I don't know if that's gonna happen.
I don't know, man. Yeah, that's just hard. She's obviously, this is like textbook manipulation.
Textbook.
You know, hanging on to one little thing from so long ago and having that be like the reason for everything. And then it's like, and she's probably saying like, oh, well, this all wouldn't have happened if you just didn't say that one time 2 years ago.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's just, oh man, I really hope he's okay. But there is a bit more. I did not tell my brother anything about his wife and only confronted his odd behavior. Sister-in-law now blocked me on Instagram for no reason after that conversation. I find that there is some deeper meaning of control going on, and she would prefer that our family is out of his life. I would love to see my nephew and have my parents be awesome grandparents, but there is some weirdness constantly happening. We feel like we are walking on eggshells. So am I the a-hole for confronting him after all that has happened? And that's the end. That's our final question. Please answer in the comments what you think. What you think the answer is. Am I, or is OP the a-hole?
No.
I think no.
No. I don't think you were ever the a-hole. You literally just asked when they were coming.
Yeah. Like
that's all you did.
Right. And I feel like in this kind of situation, it's so hard with situations like these because it's like you can't, when someone's in like a toxic situation like this, it's like you can't be like too overbearing and be like, this person's terrible, you're doing this, blah, 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 because then it's just more fuel for the fire.
Which I think is kind of what happened. I mean, the dad was like, you should be careful who you get married to. And then it was like,
exactly.
Snowballed.
Exactly. But it's like at a certain point, it's like if you actively see this person changing, like you'll want to say something about that. Especially if this is your brother. Like this isn't just some friend that you just like, I don't know, can part ways with. This is your brother.
It's your brother.
So like that's really hard. So you're definitely not the a-hole. You're doing the best you can. That's really all you can do in this situation.
Agreed.
It may just be the thing that you just have to, I don't know. Just I'm glad you're not being too aggressive and just like letting it happen kind of. And then you know, trusting that he'll just have to come to this conclusion himself or something.
Yeah. And hopefully he comes to it soon.
Hopefully. But that is the end of that story.
My brother suddenly blocked me, so I don't want to invite him to my wedding.
Get that corn out of my face.
No blocking here. No. My younger brother, 29 and baby of the family, one day earlier this year stopped calling and answering everyone in the family.
Oh.
He later blocked many family members on social media as well. By the way, this comes from user Miss Ariel Jones on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, because I haven't spoken to him in over 8 months, I only have assumptions for his actions. I'll briefly list, but not go into much detail for his privacy. He and his long-term girlfriend broke up end of 2023. We thought they would get married.
Uh-oh.
He was a victim of SA almost 2 years ago. He went to the police, doctor, and a therapist. And his assaulter did go to jail for a year.
Oh, wow.
Okay. He just started to have to pay student loans for the first time. He begged my mom to sign a Parent Plus loan for him to go to an expensive school out of state. They had an agreement that he would pay it back, with my mom helping with half the monthly payment because it's legally in her name and it's based on her income level. He's not doing well financially. He makes minimum wage and doesn't budget. Years ago, I gave him money to pay his ex back and told him never borrow money from a girlfriend again.
Yeah.
He's been trying to start a business related to his field of study, but has had many setbacks. He's very stubborn and doesn't like being told what to do, even if he needs help. Kind of just threw him under the bus with a lot of things there.
Yeah, these are the complicated sibling complications.
But I mean, I get it. That was a very, very strong list of like, okay, this man is going through a lot.
Yeah.
But do you think when he would need help the most? But it was stated he doesn't like help. When student loan payments unfroze, my mom asked me to speak with my brother to help him with a budget. Since I have a master's in finance and I volunteer as a financial coach, I think that's going to be a big part of it. He didn't want my help, which is his choice, and I never mentioned it again. I work with people from many different backgrounds, including people on Section 8 and disability who receive only $1,000 from the government to live on. I know how to adjust my tone for different situations, and I don't push people to do things they are uncomfortable with, even if I believe their money decisions are not wise. Growing up as the only girl with different interests from my brothers, we didn't bond as much. That sadly had continued into our adulthood, going to different high schools. I got accepted into an academic school while my brother went to a more vocational high school, and also going to a different university in different states. Therefore, going weeks to a month without checking in wasn't odd for us. Plus, we'd get updates when talking to mom. However, once my mom said he, her only child to call her almost every day, stopped calling her, I knew it was serious. I texted and called him and realized I was blocked. An aunt also expressed she doesn't know what she did to him to get blocked either. That's when I decided to give him the space he desired and didn't try my hardest to reach him. Midsummer, my mom called me crying. Oh no. Apparently, our family dog passed away. I received the dog as a Christmas gift. He lived with me for 6 years before becoming the family dog and traveled like a snowbird from north to south throughout the year, usually living 6 months with my brother and then would fly to live with mom in her state. She was so hurt that my brother didn't contact any of the family first before putting a tribute for the dog online. Oh, he didn't check in with anyone on the family.
Wow.
What happened? We learned he passed away like everyone else on social media. And the dog, though old for his age, was healthy. We're not sure if he passed naturally, which we find hard to believe, or if there was an accident.
Oh.
We still don't know several months later. Sad face. I was so sad and angry. I feel for you. I used my boyfriend's phone to call him, and the call could not go through. A few months later, my brother's birthday was coming. As I usually Venmo him money, I wasn't sure what to do. I ended up just mailing him a card without money, but a small handwritten note, and hoped that he still lived at the address I had saved for him. I didn't get a reply or mail back. What's going on here?
Yeah, why'd they go no contact? What was said?
What was said? What was done? I mean, I get it. You're in a dark place, but like if you're in the dark place, having family would
to get you out of it.
To get you out of it. Maybe he's Batman. Now for what I need help with. My official boyfriend of 6 months and I are getting married. Congrats. 6 months is quick. We've just been friends for 3 years, so I didn't tell my family about him until recently. Therefore, my younger brother has no clue at all my boyfriend exists. I flew my mom and other siblings to my state for a week, and then they met my boyfriend.
Nice.
My boyfriend is from a different country, and family is very important to him as a person and culturally. He wants my estranged brother to attend. Good on the boyfriend. He said he will buy us flights to go and invite him. So basically showing up at his door unannounced and hope he's fine to talk with us.
Oh boy.
I think it's a bit much and would prefer other ways to contact him first, like reaching out to a friend of his on socials to message my brother. But also, even though I want all my family to be at my wedding, including my father, who was physically absent, I don't think it's entirely my burden to reach out since he blocked me and others without explanation. Additionally, I got insight into his financial situation. My mom received an email that the last 2 of his student loan payments returned for insufficient funds.
Ooh.
Yeah. The payments auto-draft from his account, and yes, she has continued to Venmo him half the monthly payment despite not being able to communicate. This had led me to further assume his financial condition hasn't gotten any better this year. Or he still doesn't budget.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Rugs?
Oh, rugs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think rugs.
Yeah, rugs might be playing
especially with everything else going on in his life.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's using that for rugs.
Yeah. It might be a factor.
I hope not. But the fact that he cut off everyone, it could all lead up to this and makes sense. My boyfriend, without a second thought, would want us to pay for my brother and any other family or friends to fly us for our U.S. wedding and out of the country for our other ceremony. Ooh, 2 ceremonies. This would absolutely be the only option for my brother to attend without going into debt. Same for my other siblings and dad as well. Sadly, I'm the only one who's significantly well off, and my boyfriend makes 4 times more than I. I just feel some kind of way paying for someone to come to my wedding who hasn't talked to me in a whole year. If my brother was a friend and not family, he wouldn't even be considered on the guest list. So I need to help with the next steps to take. What is logical? And how do I proceed with love? Should I try my best to reach out to my brother, including showing up to his house 2,000 miles away? Should I give him the space he needs to protect his mental health, which unfortunately means him missing big milestones in my life? Should I pay for him to attend if I reach him and he wants to come? What do I say to him if we ever talk? I really just want to know what happened to my dog.
Ooh.
Oh,
I think I know.
Oh, do you think? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Like, just like.
For money.
Yeah. Oh, dude. I hope not. I hope
not.
I hope
too.
there's so many things. I hope, We hope for you guys to join us live every weekday, 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our
Just
profile.
tap it. Ooh, I think they sold the dog for money. He did.
I think he sold the dog for money. I hope he didn't. I really hope he didn't. Or maybe he did something and like he just didn't take care of the dog.
Yeah.
And the dog, or like there was an accident and he just felt so guilty that he's like, I have to cut ties.
Probably.
Again, I don't know. I don't know if anything's tied with him with the dog.
I don't know.
I don't want to know. That sucks.
I hope this Estranged Brother's okay.
I feel like he's just going through it and he just doesn't want to. Maybe he's just embarrassed.
Yeah.
He's embarrassed that he wants help. He's embarrassed that he's living in this situation, or he's in this situation that just like sucks. It's just a crappy situation.
Oh yeah.
But if you're in a crappy situation, it's always okay to ask for help, especially from family who do care for you.
Yeah.
But this is just not good. It's not good for your mental health.
Wild.
Would I be the a-hole if I made no effort to contact and invite my brother to my weddings? Yeah, we never really discussed. What would you do with the wedding?
I would reach out.
before we go back to
I'd
the story.
probably reach out to the friends and try to see what's going on.
See what's going on. I need to know what's going on with my brother.
Yeah.
Like this is the fact that he's not even talking to mom is really questionable. But there was like 3 options. It's like, oh, would you show up to his door unannounced? Would you pay for the wedding if pay for him to come with the flights and everything? Would you just leave him be? Like what?
I would eventually one day probably go to his door unannounced and see if he's there.
I just would like to make sure I can hear from him, like what's going on before.
Yeah.
And like, okay, I'm having a wedding.
Yeah.
I would love for you to be there. It'll be all paid for. If you want to come, you can come. Maybe you need just a little vacation.
Yeah.
Get some stuff off your mind. Get a little bit of sun.
Yeah.
Great. But if he's like, no, I can give you the space. Great.
Yeah.
But as long as I can hear that you're at least okay, and why are you not talking to us? I think that's the only thing I need.
Yeah. Closure.
I need at least some closure and an idea of what's going on. All right, back to the story. So again, would I be the a-hole if I made no effort to contact and invite my brother to my weddings? Should I feel guilty for just wanting to continue with my life, creating my own family, and let him reach out on his timeline, whether it's in 5 months or 5 years from now? After rereading this a couple times, I feel I should be more sensitive to my brother's mental health struggles, and that means giving him space. But I'm also torn because if I were my brother, I would want to at least know about my only sister's wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the end of it.
Wow.
We
No
don't know.
update?
No update. I want to know what
Ooh.
there's we're just something with like a void of like what's going on. Let's see if there's an update. I get it. With mental health, you want to give some people space, but you also want to know like you are backing them. You are supporting them. You have a hand on their back. Like, I'm here, but I'm within reach.
Yeah.
Rather than like I'm falling back and I don't know if anyone's gonna catch me.
Yeah, this person the brother seems to be in a bad place. I understand, maybe not for this exact party of meeting the boyfriend, you don't reach out, but I would definitely try to make an effort to go find him.
It's the first like I think even though he's having struggles, mental health issues and struggles, you want to at least know like, hey, I'm here. I know you don't want to talk to us.
Yeah.
I'm here if you need to talk. By the way, I know we haven't talked. I am getting married. I would love for you to be there.
Yeah.
It's 2 different type of things, but yes,
Yeah.
wrap it all in one little tight gift like, hey, this is a message. Because we don't know if he received that birthday card.
Yeah, I know.
You think you would respond? I don't know. That's very weird. I want to know there's no update?
No update. Ugh, that's it.
Man, I really hope the brother's okay.
Yeah, praying that he's all right.
But that's the end of the story. And again, that's what I would say is just reach out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.